Everyone, thank you for joining us. My name is Clayton Floriani, joined by Britton Wilkins, Brandon Artillians. Guys, great to be with you once again.
Likewise.
We're just south of the border in South Haven, Mississippi, on the campus of Northpoint Christian School, as our 7-2 Eagles are taking on the 0-9 Northpoint Trojans. As we say, every conference game is a huge game, so although they're coming in with an 0-9 record tonight, it's still a big game, and so the team is certainly prepared for that. We're going to review last week's 34-7 win over Harding. We're going to look ahead to tonight's preview with Northpoint, and they're going to spend a little time on the brackets looking ahead to the playoff picture, which is just next week. Before we do that, as always, Britton's going to share a brief little minute of our sponsors and how important they are to us. Britton, go ahead.
Yeah, we want to say thank you to Pediatric Dental Group, Sean Wilkins State Farm, the Stiles Law Firm, Bank 3, Scott House, Strategic Financial, Ham Holcomb, Bill Edwards, Chandler Gagnon, and Barrett Jones. Also, Darren Wilkes with Benny James, Tim Wilson with Compliance Associates, and also Ortho Memphis. So we do appreciate our sponsors. Thank you.
Absolutely.
For everything.
Well, last week's game at home, Legends Field, Harding Academy 34-7. Probably a game, if you look at the scoreboard at the end of the game, much different than what it actually was during the game. Took us a while to get going. I think Coach Rodriguez said maybe we're still on fall break for a little bit, that first half. I know that was something at halftime when you spoke to him before we went into the locker room, that it was something that he was definitely going to get out of, and I think he did. You can speak to that.
Absolutely. You see how the team responded coming out in the second half. They absolutely kind of took to heart what he had to say, and a common theme or a common term that gets thrown around is firm encouragement, that Coach Rodriguez is providing some firm encouragement to his players when necessary, and that was certainly a moment, and he was kind of brutally honest with him, and that's something he shared with his fellows, saying you look like a team that was still on fall break, kind of echoing what you were saying, Clayton. So again, but his team responded, and I guess that's what you're looking for with your guys at this point in the season. You want to see how you respond when they could be playing better, and there were some personnel issues that we all saw in the first half, but they did clean that up in the second half, and they made it. They kind of righted the ship and have some good momentum going into the home stretch of the season.
It's probably two sides to that story. You play a great, flawless game as a coach. You worry about it. You worry, gosh, I hope something doesn't fall through the cracks. Are we too confident? So as a coach, I think you probably somewhat welcome that just a little bit. Have your guys something to work on, to get on them with, to say, hey, guys, it's not going to come to you, as you see tonight. And Harding played well. It blitzed a lot of middle linebackers, which kind of slowed our running game down. Didn't have quite the production on the ground as we've had the past several games dating back to BGA at home, actually back to USJ BGA. So that was certainly different. We had to take to the air. Jacob Hatcher came in certainly and opened up the passing game. So more of a
17, 18 passes. Yeah, spent a lot of time in the air.
That's right, more of the passing game, which then opened up the running game as vice versa it normally is.
Yeah, this was the most passing yards I remember for any game this season. Well, not the most passing yards. The first time of any game this season where we've actually had more passing yards than rushing yards. So the first one that I can recall, I don't know if you guys recall any, where we actually passed more, maybe Webb. I mean, the first game of the season, so I'd have to go back. But, 122 yards rushing, 158 passing, 11 first downs. Penalties were one of the things that hurt us that game, and it's happened a couple of times. We saw it against St. George's, but we had 80 penalty yards, 7 penalties, which obviously is not good, especially if we look at going into the playoffs. Those are the kinds of things when you're playing teams that are also in the playoffs, meaning they've earned the right to be there. One of the better teams. We're going to have to be crisper and not make those, especially those 15-yarders that when you're looking, they're getting ready to punt. Now they've got a first down, and we saw that against Harding.
Late in the season, one thing we always are taking account for are injuries. We fortunately have not had a lot of trouble with that, but just an example of how we were affected, we've got Alan Bowden out at fullback. All right, so now we're having to pull our tight end, Austin Hill, into the backfield to play. Then we're having to move Ethan Saunders into the tight end position, which he is a backup tight end but doesn't play a lot. So now you watch the game film and you realize, boy, these guys aren't used to those positions. So it's almost a cascade effect. And I think some of the reason why we weren't quite as successful on the run, I think tonight you're going to notice that we're going to move Cameron Rosenberger from that tailback position into fullback to block from McMeans, I think, which is a brilliant decision by Coach Rodriguez.
What a great fullback.
I'm telling you, and he knows exactly where the play's going, having played running back. I think that is, I was just excited to see that. Another example of the coaching, great job by Coach Rodriguez noticing that and putting him into that position to be successful.
And given an opportunity to get your best athletes on the
That's
field.
right.
And we're really, really triumphant to see Cameron Rosenberger come back last week, play really well, and even get into the end zone. So it was great to have him have that reception and come back, join the Eagles lineup. And then this is going to be a great opportunity, as you were saying, to kind of open it up, put both him and we saw McMeans, how productive he has been as they've navigated the injuries through the backfield. McMeans has really come out, had a coming out party and done a great job. And now to have Cameron Rosenberger back, and they could be featured in the backfield at the same time. It's going to be quite a potential mismatch for the Northpoint defense.
Harding only scoring 7 points, so another testament to the defensive front.
Yeah.
Austin Hill, another big night offensively and defensively, but defensively for sure. Defensive backs played well. So all in all, I think we can say we turned out to be a good night. A lot of stuff we worked on, but nice to come away with the win. Harding tonight, we'll discuss in a minute, playing USJ at home. So we'll be interested in that game, and we'll tell you why in just a minute. Britton, look ahead tonight. Northpoint 0-9, of course, but is a conference game like we mentioned. So we're not going to be messing around too long. I don't expect us to have our starters in probably past the third quarter, but tell us a little bit about their lineup.
Yeah, so Kyle Brewer, number 5, rushed for over 500 yards this season. Has averaging 56 yards a game, 4 TDs, so he's one of their more potent offensive guys. He's a junior. Also another junior, Lance Salisbury, number 2. That's a name that if you've been around Northpoint for a few years, or ECS, you're familiar with that name.
His cousin.
I remember when his cousin carved through us like a hot knife through butter, going back before Coach Rodriguez was here. So I think it was maybe 3 years ago, maybe longer than that. But I remember watching him, Salisbury, all night long, run all over us. And we ended up losing that game in large part because of his effort. So that's a name that's familiar. Number 2, Lance Salisbury, 184 yards rushing, 26 rushing yards. Also on defense, he's got 11 solo tackles, so a defensive threat for them. And then number 1, Jordan Flowers, he's their wide receiver. He's only played 4 games, but he's got 170 yards. So those are some of their
dangerous
key players.
Brewer, I know, is a 4.5 speed guy.
Coach Rodriguez,
kickoff return guy as well, so he's dangerous as far as not only in the backfield but on return special teams.
Well, Coach Rodriguez mentioned this week that those 2 guys could play for anybody in the city. I mean, really, they could play for anybody in the city, and had said that, those are the kind of players that a coach loves to have, and so those are the guys we'll be watching for Northpoint.
And it's good to have those type of guys in the Northpoint lineup. In some regards, it's going to keep the ECS guys, frosty, and they're going to be anticipating. They're not going to sleep on this Northpoint team, despite what the record. They still know that there's some potential there for these guys to blow up and have some big plays.
Good. Defensively, Northpoint has struggled. They got a lot of youth on the defensive side of the ball, and their linebackers and defensive backs. I know their best player is number 70 in the defensive line. Tough guy. We'll have a hard time blocking him tonight. If we do, we'll be successful. But I do look for us to run the ball right up the middle, a lot of power, a lot of stretch plays. I think we will put it in the air. The field is extremely wet, real soggy from all the rain yesterday. So I think we'll definitely be on the ground most of the night.
You would think from a clock management perspective, ECS comes into this game heavily favored. So if things go well, as they should, then you would see, hopefully to see the rushing game just to keep the clock running and to give some of these other guys an opportunity to get in if we can establish the run. Coach did say, obviously, he wants to pass a little bit this week, work on the passing game. You want to work on just the timing of that going into the playoffs. So, but we were favored one time also this year, and we did not come away with a victory. So this team doesn't have as many weapons as St. George's, the team that beat us this year, aside from Lausanne. They don't have as many offensive weapons, so it's going to be really hard for them to walk away with a victory tonight. But I've played in underdog games before, and it's possible. It's not probable, but it's possible.
Well, last year at home, Northpoint was favored over us. So it was a little bit of an upset, us beating them. We kind of got a cold night, a little like this, rainy, and we came out on top. So a year makes a big difference. But let's look ahead to the playoffs. That's what everyone's kind of jockeying for right now. Tonight plays into that. And we're also going to be watching other games tonight. We mentioned USJ versus Harding. St. George's, of course, right there with us. They're out of conference tonight against Houston, so that matchup.
Big game, but doesn't matter for division.
Yeah, big game. It's going to be a hard game. St. George's playing a tough 6A opponent right before the playoffs. They've got a few guys hurt, so I know that's going to be not ideal trying to hit the playoff run. So, Brendan, why don't you speak to the playoff picture, kind of the different scenarios with us seeds?
Well, we do, and again, it's a kind of a convoluted picture, so clean up any mess I may make
here.
But we know Lausanne's going to be number one.
That's right.
Lausanne will be number one coming out of the West, so they've secured the first seed, and in all likelihood, they're going to be playing Good Pasture, a program out of Nashville. Then from there, this is where we kind of fall into are we going to be the second or third seed coming out of the West? And if we win tonight, and I believe it's going to be a Harding, if Harding wins, then we will secure the second seed, and we will face most likely either St. George or Harding in that first round, in our first round playoff game. And if we win tonight, or depending on how Harding plays, we may end up with the third seed. Either way, any way you slice it, we get home field advantage for at least that first round of the playoffs.
That's right.
And we will host a team. If we're the third seed in the West, we may be hosting Lipscomb, another program out of Nashville.
Yep. So what happens is that middle conference, there's a West, middle, and an East. This year, the middle, number 1, number 4, and number 5 seeds have come west to play us. The 2, 3 have headed east to play. So you've got BGA, and I'm not sure what the number 3 seed is. It's going to the east. So after that second round, we're either going to play, if we win, we'll play either Lausanne or CPA. CPA, of course, coming in as the number 1 seed from the middle division. So
you look at that, you're like, how did that happen?
How did that happen?
West and the Middle Tennessee team that's coming out of it by far the strongest, based on the season that they had. So CPA, really great year out of Nashville.
Yeah.
So we could be headed to Nashville in the second round.
Yeah, CPA right now is 9-0. Lausanne 8-0. Lausanne, they're showing at number 1. CPA number 2. Notre Dame number 3 at 8-1. So another good team. And then right there is ECS at 7-2. BGA you mentioned at 7-2. And then from there, there's Franklin Road Academy, FRA, has 6 wins, and after that, it's 5 wins or less overall. So Lausanne 5-0 in district play, CPA 3-0, Notre Dame 6-0. So those are the names that you're going to hear that are favored to go to the state. And so we're going to have to play, as you said, either Lausanne or CPA if we're successful in that first playoff game.
So we take it one game at a time, of course.
That's right.
Speak, but it is what
So one game at a time. If you're at home, what this really means is first round, we're going to be at home, looks like.
Yeah.
Second round could be at home as well. Well, not home, but in the city of Memphis against Lausanne.
Against Lausanne, that's right.
The other option would be on the road against CPA. So could be a Memphis first 2 rounds, or it could
I'm not sure which one of those I prefer.
Yeah.
I don't know either.
I don't know which team. Yeah, I don't know which team.
Well, interesting matchup against CPA. Let's not forget Ingle Martin was the quarterback on Coach Rodriguez's high school team.
From MBA.
Who's now at MBA, who's now the head coach, of course, at CPA. So that's a interesting rivalry.
Yeah.
Running back versus quarterback meeting up. I'm sure deep down.
They won a lot together.
They won a lot of games.
So it would be interesting to see them on opposing sidelines.
And we haven't played them. It's I think it would be something new, and I think he would probably, deep down, it's got to be it'd be fun to do that,
Well, if you think for Coach Rodriguez, too, it'd be fun for him to be able to go home to play.
Oh, absolutely.
To be able to go back to Nashville and play. I've heard some things about Coach Rodriguez from some guys that played with him at NBA, and they were talking about how he started at fullback as a sophomore, and he said nobody started as a sophomore on NBA's team. So another big matchup tonight. You've got MUS over at Christian Brothers.
Yes.
So not in our division, but I was told at work that that game actually sold out. They sold out of tickets this afternoon. So I don't know if that's true or not, but I think that'll be an interesting game. We'll watch that.
I'm sure a credible source.
So we'll see how that one shakes out too. We'll try to feed you some points from that USJ Harding game, and then also that game as well.
So that's the playoff picture as we know it so far. That we'll keep you updated throughout the game. Of course, just mainly watching that USJ versus Harding game, and that will pretty much determine our outcome. Of course, if we take care of business here.
We need Harding to win that game. That favors us, is it not?
Yeah.
I believe
if Harding wins, we're the second seed.
I believe that is correct. Otherwise, I guess St. George's would fall in there. I'm not sure exactly that part. I just know 2 and 3.
Yeah.
So,
and that's what we're jogging for.
And that's
but
what
again,
we're jogging for.
The other bottom line, we win, we better our chances of hosting
right.
a playoff game.
That's exactly
so
right.
That's right.
Controlling their own destiny.
Yep.
But also, you can't help but reflect, that 3-point loss, a tough game that they lost to St. George earlier in the year. How crucial that is now as we look at the playoff picture. Could have made things a lot easier now.
Yeah, I know St. George's, just if you mentioned they've got some injuries, I said they're wide receivers out. Broken ankle leg, so they're kind of beat up.
That's one of their key players.
Yeah.
Their wide receiver, one of their key skilled guys. So that's a big loss for them. And we've talked about it during the season. A couple of players make a huge difference at this level of football.
Yeah, Brandon, you grew up in the Nashville area,
Yeah.
so CPA is a common opponent to you.
Yeah, again, Christ Presbyterian, and you're kind of talking about Ingle Martin coming in there. He's been there a relatively short period of time, and it's almost interesting to see the parallels between him and Jonas Rodriguez, where they've kind of come into their own as coaches and just really have risen the level of the programs that they now are a part of. And when Ingle Martin was at MBA, that was a nationally ranked team. I mean, MBA was one of the nationally ranked. USA Today had them top 10 for a spell there. So just the experience that those two share, and just to see where Ingle Martin has kind of come through his experience.
Yeah.
It's not a surprise. I'm not surprised that he's now leading a high school program. And they're undefeated and looking like they're in prime position to make a run in the playoffs themselves.
And our coach, Anna Bowers, our core coach in high school varsity, her dad, the coach of both of those guys.
Yeah, exactly.
So a lot of history with our school, and so it's an interesting kind of dynamic that it would be interesting to explore that if we make it that far. So that's going to do it for our pregame show, guys. Brandon will be on the sideline with us, and we've got about 5 or 6 minutes before game time, and we'll get this show on the road. So good luck, Eagles, if you're at home. Thank you for joining us. We'll be right with you. If you're in the stadium tonight, 92.7. At home next week, 92.7 as well. In the stadium, we'll FM transmit that, and you can listen live with no delay. So thank you so much. Just fold it up and put it back there. Yeah, I forgot mine. I'm going to go on. I need my binoculars though. I see binoculars over here. Oh yeah. Okay, I'm gonna go on here, Britton. Welcome back to Trojan Field on the campus of Northpoint Christian. About 4 minutes before kickoff, Eagles captain's about to take it out on the field. We've got Evan Lockhart, number 18, Dawson Williams, and Cody Ashmore, number 53. We're going to get the team assembled here in the left end zone as well. We're going to hold Alan Bowden out one more night, let him rest up that knee, and he should be ready to go next week for the playoffs. No other real changes in the lineup that we foresee at this point. We'll be able to update you as we get the offensive and defensive units on the field. Thanks to Big Joseph Nafee being in the house tonight. Crisco Cochran is with us. Nathan Marock's home in bed. Oh, he's on his way? Okay. No, I'm just kidding. We're all here. Good deal.
Nathan Marock home in bed. Did he have a sick day this week? No, he's good. He just play practice.
Yeah,
good.
Nathan does a good job. He's outside of just football. He's doing the sound and all the audio for the play coming up. The Fantastics is the play that'll be 2 weeks.
ECS Madness.
Yeah, Eagle Madness is next week, actually. Thanks, Joseph. Our first time for the kind of a midnight madness type of basketball environment. That will be after the St. George's football game. That's saying that it will be St. George's, but that's who we're thinking it's going to be. But either way, it's going to be after the first round of playoffs at home.
Well, admittance for that game, admittance. Oh, I'm not sure how to say that. To get into the game, you need to buy some of the crazy socks the basketball team is selling to raise money for the program. So that's going to be your entree into the game that night.
Tonight's ball game. First of all, from ECS, number 4, Dawson Williams. Number 18, Evan Lockhart. And number 50.
Like we said, rain all day yesterday, even here in South Haven, so the field is extremely soggy. It's in great condition, but it's definitely wet. Nice crowd for the Eagles across the field. You can notice in the stands filling up quickly. Temperature mid-50s, no rain.
Clayton, I'm going to say thank you to our sponsors again. James Stiles with the Stiles Law Firm. You with Pediatric Dental Group, Clayton Floriani. Also, Sean Wilkins with Sean Wilkins State Farm. He is going to be in the booth with us at halftime. We're going to do an interview, get a little bit of history. He's not really sure what's coming. I'm just going to ask questions on the fly, so he doesn't really have any idea what I'm going to ask him. But we're going to talk to Sean Wilkins at halftime, our timeout sponsor. So thanks also, I said, to Pediatric Dental Group, to you, Clayton, for this wouldn't be possible if it wasn't for you. Also want to say thanks to Bank 3, Scott House, Strategic Financial Partners, Hamp Holcomb, Bill Edwards, Barrett Jones, and Chandler Gagnon, all intricately connected to ECS. Hamp as a board member and a parent, and then, of course, Barrett, one of the outstanding football players for the Eagles. Chandler, one of the most decorated soccer players for the Eagles, and then Bill Edwards, a professional baseball again, one of the all three of those guys, among the most decorated in their sport. In fact, I noticed that Bill Edwards actually has a few records. He has a few records for the football team. So also we'll say thanks to our other sponsors, Compliance Associates, Tim Wilson, Benny James, Darren Wilkes with Benny James. Remember, if you call Darren and tell him this week, the first person to call him and say you heard on the live stream will get $100 off. HVAC, appliance repair, plumbing. In fact, Darren was at my house this week. There is a new 5-ton furnace and cool. I'm the winner of a new 5-ton, the winner by way of writing a check of a 5-ton cool. And then
that was a scratch off. That was a scratch and win.
It was a scratch and lose. It was a scratch and lose of 5-ton furnace and cool. So it happens, but it was unfortunate for sure. And then did I miss anybody else? Ortho Memphis. So thanks, Mr. Nafee. We do appreciate Ortho Memphis. Representatives locally, Jen Dorman and David Dabbs. So thanks to our trainers.
Like to say hello to Pete Smith. Pete and Carrie at home tonight. Nice fire sitting by. Thanks for that tweet, Pete.
I want a photo of that fireplace, Pete.
Eagles won the toss. Excuse me, Northpoint won the toss. They will receive. Karn kicking deep. Kind of misfielded by Northpoint.
Wow.
Dawson Williams going to bring him down on the 25-yard line.
Hey, let's go, Way! Come on, man!
On the return for the Trojans, number 8, Holman. Number 46, on the tackle for ECS. He's a first down for the Trojans.
Come on, man, let's go! Read the key!
Handoff up the middle. Dietrich Pennington, Cody Ashmore there to make the tackle. Pickup of probably one.
On the tackle, number 77, Dietrich Pennington for ECS brings up second down.
That'll bring up second down and 10. Ball on the 29-yard line. May have to give us a little bit to kind of get going here. We're in a new location tonight, kind of a tight space. We've got cords strung up to the top of the press box, through the windows, and into the booth. So
We really ought to tweet out a picture of this whole situation. the amount of cords and people in this space, it's impressive. We got some evidence from Pete Smith.
5-yard penalty motion. They'll back that up 5 yards, so that'll bring the ball back to the 24-yard line. Eagles out in that classic 3-4 defense. Dietrich Pennington left defensive tackle. Josh Hartsuff at nose guard. And it looks like we've got Josh Kroll, number 75, at right defensive tackle. We're going to hold Tyler Giles tonight. A little bit of an injury. We're going to save him up for the playoffs as well. Almost a completion, Northpoint.
We had 5 Eagle receivers downfield with only 2 Northpoint defenders. Sorry, not Eagle receivers. You had 2 Northpoint offensive guys with just a host, 5 Eagles across the board. That was a gutsy throw on their part.
He had a small window, Britton, just couldn't quite get it in.
He had about a step. He had one step.
He did.
We had a line of defenders.
Once again, you're going to want to pay attention to number 5, Kyle Brewer in the backfield. Eagles up a blitz. Austin Hill coming in from the outside linebacker. Just missed him. Nice throw and catch by the Trojans. That'll move it up to the 34-yard line.
Could be about 4th and 3.
Brandon, if you can hear us on the sideline, looks like a...
Check it in. Yeah, it's about a 4th and 2.5 right now. But certainly too much to go for it.
Yeah.
Punting the wise decision.
Line drive punt.
Let's go, O! Let's go, line!
Having to look down on the field, there is definitely, the condition of the field is what it is. You were commenting on all the rain that we've had experienced over the last 24, 48 hours. So footing is an issue. Footing appears to be an issue. We just saw Austin Hill on that blitz defensively, kind of slipped as he was making his cut to the quarterback. So these guys are just going to maybe take a few minutes to get their feet underneath them on this field.
Eagles take over 28-yard line. Matthew McMeans tailback. Cameron Rosenberger at fullback like we talked about. Stretch play to the left side. McMeans will pick up probably 4.
Impressive to see Rosenberger in that fullback position, not afraid to do some dirty work, clearing out that end, opening up that hole.
You're exactly right. A lot of unselfish play by these players playing positions that, like Coach Rod said, just to get the best 11 on the field, and they'll do whatever it takes to do that.
Well, and the record this year, you know, compared to previous years, the record this year has proven that we've been successful this year putting the best 11 on the field.
Gagnon and Williams, bottom of your screen once again. Same play. McMean slips as he tries to cut back inside. That'll bring up 3rd down and probably 5. We lost 1 on the play.
Clayton, you and Brandon both have been on that field. I've not been down there yet, but it sure looks wet from here.
Just very soggy. The field is in good shape. It's got a nice crown on it, so it's draining well, but it's just so much rain yesterday, it's going to be wet.
Well, I'm surprised you're right, it does have a nice crown on it. I'm surprised when we were walking up, you could see that crown. Just surprised to see how much water there actually was.
3rd down and 5. We'll see what Coach Rodriguez dials up. Joseph Welch, your quarterback. Josiah Tingley, center. Cody Ashmore, left guard. Josh Hartsuff, right guard. Dietrich Pennington, left tackle. Right tackle, Josh Kroll. All right, we're going to put Rosenberger at tailback this time. We're going to have Austin Hill offset to the left as an H-back. So we'll go heavy on the left side unless we flip Austin Hill over. All right, there goes Hill. He'll flip over to the right side. Play action pass. Welch throws just a little high to Austin Hill. Had a flat route from that H-back position. So that'll bring up 4th down for the Eagles.
Yeah, just about a foot too high.
Yeah. Had him open, had a first down, just couldn't quite get it to him.
Had a man on him. See that defender bearing down on you. You played quarterback. I mean, that's tough rolling out with someone bearing down on you. You want to get the ball off.
Yeah, what you have a hard time is looking down the field because you got the guy right in front of you, so you're trying to get by that guy.
Well, that's a great punt considering we rolled the ball to him. I don't know, Clayton, if you saw that, but we rolled the ball back. So fortunate to end up with a punt that solid.
Well, you're right.
That's like a grounder. It's like playing shortstop.
He putted it back there too.
Uncharacteristic, though. I mean, I don't. You don't want to blame anything, but I mean, if it is like this, the slippery conditions on the field, we're still seeing that with the traction and the footing. Also, maybe just the handling of the ball. No rain right now, but certainly the residual effect of the rain that we've had the past couple of days.
No doubt. Hill was the one who laid out for that last pass from Welch, so no doubt he got wet all over and may not have had time to dry off as well as he would have liked to. So this will start the second offensive series for Northpoint. Ball on the 30-yard line. Linebacker tonight, Evan Lockhart. Ethan Saunders. Epperson strong safety, Gagnon free safety. Little option to the left. Nice play by Ethan Saunders coming up from that weak side will linebacker. That play just took a while to develop.
It did. It almost seemed like it was in slow motion. The end did a good job sealing on this right side. And it looked like there was a little bit of room, but Ethan came in and just shut it down. Ball's loose. In the hands.
Hearts up, picks it up. Nice.
Hearts up with his first interception of the season. Josh Hartsuff. Ball pops out. Josh grabs it in the air for his first interception.
Wow, what a great play.
I'm going to call that an interception. It might be a fumble recovery, but I don't know. The ball left the quarterback's hands. I'm going with interception. Boy, key play after Northpoint we forced Northpoint to punt on the first series. They turned around and forced us to punt, and then just a key play to take the ball away down inside the red zone, puts us immediately in the red zone.
Boy, nice throw by Hatcher.
A little bit overthrown.
Do we know? We got that
Josh hit the ball.
Looking for Dawson Williams on a corner route. So we had Welch first series. Now we've got Hatcher in the second series.
Sorry to break your heart, Britton. Consensus on the sideline, it's a fumble. It was a strip.
No,
and then
I'm calling it an interception. I don't care.
All right. It's going to go down. The record will reflect interception. Stats kept by Britton Wilkins.
Official stats are going to show. You're right. They're going to show a fumble, but it's just a whole lot more fun when a lineman takes an interception.
I mean, look at those hands.
And I'm just getting I'm getting told here in the booth that. Yesterday was his birthday, so a little late birthday present. Nafy says it was yesterday. Yesterday that was his Hartsef's birthday, so that's a pretty good birthday present.
A little bit of clock trouble. Official timeout. We'll get this set.
I'm going to see if I can check some scores, see if there's any early scores from the games we mentioned, the Harding USJ, the big game impacting us, and then also the big game of the night between two powerhouses, MUS and Christian Brothers, in the larger division. So right now, Clayton, it's 53 degrees with a 7-mile-per-hour wind right here at Northpoint.
We're going to bring in Rosenberger, number 26 at fullback. Of course, normally tailback. Now Matthew McMeans, who's kind of taken over that tailback position with Rosenberger being out with that ankle injury. Kroll, right tackle. Hudson Steele, now number 60. He's in at guard. Tingley, your center. Ashmore, left guard. He's back. This is his second game back from injury. And Pennington, number 77, left defensive tackle. Austin Hill, number 5, your tight end. Williams, 4. Gagnon, 9, split down at the bottom of your screen on the left. Clock set on 7:30, first quarter. Eagles second possession, ball on the 15. Second down and 10. Handoff McMean, stretch play right side, just hard to
lost
just make
his
a
footing.
cut. Yeah,
lost his footing on that field. That's going to be something we're going to see all night.
He might pick up maybe 1 or 2. Brandon, looks like the field conditions are becoming worse as the night goes on.
And I mean, very indicative of that. We've seen Matthew McMeans make those type of cuts all year long flawlessly, just terrific vision and just be able to get up the field. And we're seeing that, he's just getting snagged and caught up in the turf. And it's like roller skates on. He just his feet coming out from underneath him.
You know, we talk about how fast he is laterally, so you can see with not being able to cut, he loses a little bit of that lateral speed.
Illegal procedure is the call against the Eagles.
Penalty on the Eagles, illegal procedure, back them up 5.
Backs them up to about the 19-yard line.
Ball on the 19, we'll replay that down. Second down and 15. Number 33, Preston Daniel, will come in, replace McMeans. That'll bring us a heavy package, 2 tight end look. A little bit of confusion. We'll get a timeout by the Eagles to talk this over. Very important play with us being in Northpoint territory.
So this from 4 minutes ago. Touchdown USJ. Harding and USJ tied at 7 with 5:35 left in the first. So again, we want Harding to win that one. So we do have a Sean Wilkins State Farm timeout. I said we'll be meeting with him. He's going to come visit with us in the booth at halftime. Former ECS board member for a million years, and ECS parent and grandparent currently. He's got, how many does he have now? I don't know. Several grandkids, a couple already graduated. So we'll visit with him. Call Sean for your insurance needs, 388-4944.
If the Eagles are fortunate enough to come out with a win tonight, we will be at home next week, first round of playoffs. Be sure to listen.
Harding, this just in from 10 seconds ago, touchdown Lions. Harding up 14-7.
Williams in motion. Will fake it to Rosenberger, looking deep. Preston Daniel right in his hands, couldn't quite hold on to it. Boy, Hatcher threw a strike. Just couldn't quite hold on. That'll bring up 3rd down and 15.
Well, I think Ethan Saunders was open. Backside. Was that Ethan's not going to be back there? That's Austin Hill. Sorry, that was Austin
Looks like
Hill.
Epperson's checking into the game and Preston Daniel coming out.
Ladies and gentlemen, 3rd down and Yale. Let's go.
Next week, join us at home. Bring your radio to the stands. You'll pick up this broadcast live with no delay on 92.7. We're going to split Williams, Gagnon, bottom of your screen, Epperson and Hill at the top. Hatcher going deep to Williams.
Yes, sir.
Great play.
What a catch. No, incomplete.
Just out of his hands.
I thought he hauled it in.
Boy, he gave a great effort. Just couldn't quite bring it down. Great pass by Hatcher. All right, we're going to bring Chandler Corrin in. Be a 36-yard field goal.
Boy, I think when he hit the ground, the ball just popped out.
Fake to Rosenberger, but still on his feet.
Good hold by Northpoint Trojans.
Was. We practiced that play this week in practice a few times. Great
it worked
place.
better in practice, didn't it?
Well, that's a long way to go, 15 yards.
It worked better against, yeah, it is a long way to go.
But, you know,
well, you're not going to punt, and, you know, with the field being wet, it's going to be hard to plant to kick a field goal.
That's what I was thinking.
It's going to be hard to plant. So I was kind of hoping we would see if or go for it, either one. The problem is, you know, 15 yards, that's a long way to go for a first down. So,
hey, hand it to Northpoint, another great defensive stop by the Trojans. Hand off to Brewer on the right side. He'll get stuffed, maybe a gain of 1. Preston Daniel on the tackle. Pennington, Saunders, Epperson. He'll pick up maybe 1. Well, there's no doubt Northpoint will have to put the ball in the air tonight unless they were able to break free, you know, a broken tackle, because we're just pretty much giving them nothing up front.
Well, that defensive line has been strong all year. Dietrich Pennington, Josh Hartseff.
Little inside read option to Brewer once again. He'll pick up maybe 1 more, bring up 3rd down and maybe a long 7. Hartsuff once again on the tackle for the Eagles.
Who's playing right? Defensive.
Josh Kroll. Normally number 90.
I was going to say, he's throwing me with his number 75.
Well, that's right. Well, we had to move him from tight end, so incomplete by the Trojans. Looks like the ball slipped out of his hand. Yeah, Kroll had to move to 75 because he's on the line tonight, having to play right tackle in the place of Tyler Giles.
I know you mentioned Tyler was out.
Yep. Coach Rodriguez said Tyler could go tonight. Let's let him rest up.
As the offense gets ready, certainly some frustration about something that plagued them in the first half last week against Harding was personnel sets, and that seemed to be a problem. They were trying to figure out personnel, and that resulted in a timeout, so they want to try to not up.
The ball hit the ground, so there'll be no roughing.
Yep.
If the ball hits the ground, there's going to be no roughing the punter or the kicker.
Well, looks like we're going to have one more opportunity on this third offensive series in Trojan territory. First 2 times we've come away with no points.
Well, Northpoint was fortunate we weren't rushing.
Yeah.
We had a punt safe on or a return scheme on, or that might have been a safety.
Rosenberger fullback, McMeans tailback. We're going to leave Hatcher in this series. So normally we see that alternating. We're going to leave Hatcher in. Williams split up top. Handoff left side, McMeans right up the middle. Boy, nice tackle, number 70, Carlton Brown. Great defensive player for them. No doubt the strongest on that defensive side of the ball.
A great defensive play for him. Good athletic move.
He had a great game last year against us. We need to certainly run away from him. 4:41 to go.
Clayton, with a field wet like this, it really favors the downhill running game. The side-to-side game is not as effective because of the wet field and the conditions. So you would think that could be difficult for McMeans. You know, he's a guy that's very shifty, has had a lot of success moving side to side. I got that information. I got that observation from Clay Scott in a text. So thanks, Fats. So just in from Nafy, who's watching the scores tonight, or Cochran. Someone of you got who's running the scores? Nafy. MUS up over Christian Brothers 7-0.
3rd down and 7. Looks like the Eagles just having trouble getting the block and staying on the block so far. Epperson, Gagnon, bottom of your screen. Williams up top. Going to go deep to Williams. Going to rule that incomplete. He went up high, just could not come down. Looks like he may have come down out of bounds as well. So,
well, he was well covered. I mean, I'm surprised he was able to. If he could have hauled that in, it would have been a phenomenal catch. Northpoint they're double teaming him on every pass play.
Great effort by Williams. Great throw by Hatcher. Only Williams could catch that. We're going to bring Karn in once again. We will attempt a field goal. This time we're looking at a 35-yarder right down the middle. Off to the right. Like we said, Britton, just hard to plant that foot. Karn, usually a deep kicker, just couldn't get much on it. So the Trojans hold once again. Score still 0-0 with 3:28 to go in this first quarter.
Well, the Eagles are looking kind of like the Tigers do in the rainy conditions on a wet field. Unfortunately, it reminds me of the Tigers. Not good.
I'm telling you.
It's not good. The Harding went up 14-7, kicked off to USJ. USJ fumbles on the kickoff, and Harding has recovered, up 14-7.
Boy, great defensive push by that front three of the Eagles. Try to run a slant route. That'll bring up 2nd down and 10.
Epperson just had a good look at just very close to getting that pick there. Just a hair off of it.
Brandon, probably a lot of pacing on the sidelines, being shut out so far and having the ball 3 times in Trojan territory.
There is, you can tell that, there's a frustration, but the coaches collectively working to keep their guys composed and focused, keeping them positive right now.
Nice throw and catch by the Trojans. That'll bring it up to not quite a 1st down, I don't believe.
That ball was just over the hands of Austin Hill. He jumped on it. I mean, I don't know how he didn't tip it. It was a good reaction on his part. He barely missed it.
3rd down and 2 for the Trojans. 2:50 to go in this first quarter. Quick handoff to Brewer up the middle. Boy, if he's loose, we may not catch him. Boy, nice tackle. Jacob Epperson. Boy, nice to have Epperson.
Great job by Jacob.
Yeah.
Saved a touchdown. Boy, that was a first down and a 35-yard scamper.
Yeah, nice play by Brewer. Just a quick hit up the middle.
I wouldn't be surprised if we don't see a play like that for the Eagles tonight with Rosenberger at fullback.
Yeah, like last week we had Hill, that quick hit up the middle we saw, which worked so well. Gagnon on the tackle. Williams on the tackle. Bring up 2nd down and 7.
Well, we talked about it in pregame. That Salisbury is a name that's familiar here at Northpoint. Also for the Eagles, his cousin a couple years ago. He's also playing at the collegiate level, but Salisbury, his cousin, a prolific runner. Ball's loose.
Ball on the ground.
Recovered by Northpoint. But Salisbury's a very effective runner for Northpoint.
Nice play by Rosenberger and Saunders, almost coming up with the fumble. Rosenberger and Hill, your 2 outside linebackers. 3rd down and 8. Botch snap. Austin Hill coming in. Boy, a lot of bodies flying around. That's going to be a loss of about 20 on the play.
I'm trying to watch the replay, but it's too slow.
Well, Austin Hill went after it hard.
Austin saw, he was the first one to see the ball on the ground, and he went for it. And
Rosenberger couldn't quite grab it behind him.
Yeah, we've talked about it before. It's a lot harder than it looks to try to pick the ball up on the run, especially Austin dove for it, which is the right thing to do. But it's hard to pick up a ball, bend down and pick the ball up. You know, it's not round, so it doesn't move, it doesn't roll in a uniform in a uniform line. So it's just, all I can say is it's harder than it looks. So this is a Sean Wilkins State Farm timeout. Thank you, Sean, for your support of the ECS Eagle football live stream. Call Sean Wilkins for you need auto, life, health, all your insurance needs. Call him. He's commercial. He can insure commercial buildings. 388-4944. Ask for Sean.
That's going to end the first quarter. We'll flip field, start the second quarter. Brandon, you think the Eagles will go for the block, or we'll have a full punt return on here?
I think they're going to go punt return on this. I just wonder about the footing, just being able to even get the type of traction to get that explosion and firing off the ball to get back and get a good look at blocking that punt. So they're probably going to have a return here. And by the looks of it, a lot of guys playing off the ball. So, yeah, they're going for the return on this one.
Hardy's still up 14-7 at the end of the first quarter there. We're waiting on the clock to wind down, and it has. The official starts the play clock.
Williams standing on his own 40.
Oh, he went for it.
Hey, great effort, Caden. Great effort, Caden.
You know, Clayton, that punt basically got back to what was the original line of scrimmage. No, not even to the original line of scrimmage. So that series netted a loss of about 6 yards after the long fumble, and then the punt right there. So great field position for the Eagles. Take over the ball in the Trojan side of the field, Trojan side of the 50.
All right, here we go. Gagnon Williams, bottom of your screen. Rosenberger, McMeans in the backfield. Hatcher, your quarterback, right up the middle. McMeans goes left, cuts back to his right, picks up 12, down to the 34-yard line. Boy, best offensive play we've had on the night, just right up the middle. No cutting needed.
Well, that's what we were talking about just a minute ago. It's going to be hard. It's going to be really difficult side to side with the field as wet as it is. So that downhill running quick, hit the hole quick and head for the end zone.
We'll come out same formation, probably have the same play. Carlton Brown once again disrupting that backfield. He seems like the one man that we can't quite get a block on. Once again, same formation, 2nd down, 7. Williams, Gagnon on the right. McMeans once again.
Great
big
push
hole
by the offensive line. Wow.
That'll be a 1st down, down to the 20.
Great push on that offensive line. We've got a timeout called by Northpoint. I don't blame them after the success of those 2 rushing plays, 2 out of 3 rushing plays. Might be good to take a break and an adjustment. I think Coach Rodriguez has found a play that's working.
Players fired up on the sideline, just looking at this huddle at the timeout, and they're feeling the
out of the 50, and then a couple of successful offensive plays. I think we're maybe having some technical difficulties on the live stream, but I think we're back.
Yeah, we went down just a minute. All right, we're back up, Brittany. We may have a little bit of a delay. Not sure what happened.
I'm sure whatever I just said during that time was completely irrelevant anyway, so it didn't matter.
Well, we're having to go with the Wi-Fi tonight, so.
So what you just missed there was a Sean Wilkins State Farm timeout. That's it. Great run up the great run by Rosenberger up the middle. Picked up, looks like another 1st down. Yeah, a 1st down. Picked up about 11 yards.
Well, that was a nice hard run.
Well, I would say Rosenberger is the more effective downhill runner.
Yeah.
Means has been great shifting side to side, although he just ran up the gut here just a minute ago and did a phenomenal job. But it's just great to have two quality running backs.
Well, I tell you what, Rosenberger in for 6 points. 10 yards out. Nice play by Rosenberger. Nice blocking by the line up front. So finally, with 9:57 to go in the 2nd quarter, your Eagles are on the board.
But Clayton, it's almost like that offensive line just decided all of a sudden they wanted to put the ball in the end zone. They wanted to move some people around.
Well, we ran the same play
and they did.
every time.
Was that 4 times in a row?
It was.
Well, if it works that well, I think we should just keep running it. So that was a James Stiles touchdown. Thank you, James, for your support. Call James. Your aims to be your attorney for life from the purchase of your first home all the way until estate planning. So the kick is up and good. The extra point. Eagles up 7-0 with 9:57 left in the 1st. Clayton, I just took over your job, and I'm not very good at it.
No, you did great. I was kind of checking out some of those Northpoint players with my binoculars.
Brandon, what's the word on the sideline?
Well, just excitement. I think that they've identified their groove here. And echoing your point, Britton, about just going north and south. You know, they're not going to be able to get a lot going as that's bared out that, you know, they're not going to be able to go left or right, but they can keep it going downhill with Cameron Rosenberger, and it's paying off as they hit pay dirt. So a lot of enthusiasm, and now it just seems like they want to stay, even with the excitement, keep it calm, keep everything focused, keep everything in front of them, but definitely a different feeling and emotion on the sideline than it was 5 minutes ago.
You know, I think with Hatcher being in the game these last few series, we wanted to put the ball in the air, but just the conditions being what they are just have not been, you know, had much success. So,
well, one of the conditions is they're double teaming Dawson Williams on every play. That's one of the conditions.
Corrin still get this 5 yards deep in the end zone, even with a wet field. So, great kick by Corrin. Trojans will take over on their own 20 with 9:57 to go.
MUS now leads Christian Brothers 10-7. For those of you that care about that score, the score I have for Harding still 14-7 over USJ. Again, we're watching that game because it impacts the seeding of our team. Should we be successful tonight in the game against Northpoint?
We're going to have Peter Nern, top of your screen at cornerback, number 13. Zachary Brooks, cornerback this side of the field, number 3. Quick handoff to Brewer. Nice play. Josh Kroll wraps him up quickly. Maybe a gain of 1. Boy, Kroll got off his block really fast, made a great play.
Did. He was standing in the hole waiting on the running back when he got there. Might
Kroll's
have picked
having
up
a tremendous game. He had the strip sack earlier, and now with that.
You mean the interception? Brandon,
Hey,
somebody the interception?
Hey, to each their own. To each their own.
You're the professional. I'm going with you. You just, you know, if an offensive lineman sniffs an interception, that's just a once in a career kind of thing.
Nice run by Brewer. Epperson came up, caused him to change direction.
Epperson was there to cause him to change directions, but good adjustment.
Be short, pardon me, Britton, but
nope.
Yes, about a yard away from the first down here on this third down.
Third down and 1. I would expect number 5, Kyle Brewer, to be right up the middle.
That, boy.
Or that.
That's going to be a first down.
A lot of frustration with that because they were all yelling from the sideline, watch the ball. At the classic situation where you're going to try to draw the defensive line off, and unfortunately we bid on it.
I mean, that play just works time and time again, and everybody knows about it. But when, you know, it's third down and short, so as a defensive lineman, you're ready to fire off the ball and stop the running back. And well, that's what happens. You're geared up, ready to go, and you jump. So hopefully that was Salisbury that somebody on. They looked like they got bent when I think it's Salisbury went down there. He went down in a little bit of an awkward position. So hopefully he's not injured.
Nice throw and catch by Northpoint.
So Nafian with the score. MUS Christian Brothers 10-7.
Second down and 2. Handoff to Brewer. Evan Lockhart from that inside linebacker there to stop his momentum, put him on the ground.
Somebody's still on the ground. Can't see with the official blocking it who exactly is, but
looks like it's number 5, Brewer.
Boy, great play by Lockhart, shedding that block.
Well, Brewer's one of their top athletes. Kyle Brewer has great speed. Coach Rodriguez talked with us this week about him, actually yesterday in our regular interview.
Ladies and gentlemen, let's hear it for Mr. Kyle Brewer.
So it looks like he's okay. Maybe he had a cramp or something. I can tell you this, we're not going to have our feelings hurt if he sits out a few plays. He's rushed for over 500 yards this year, a junior running back.
He's definitely walking gingerly, so it looks like an ankle. It'll bring up 1st and down for the Trojans, ball on their own 45-yard line. Boy, nice little square in pattern, just in and out of the hands of Northpoint.
They've not been able to connect yet.
Yeah,
offensively
neither
on the
side.
pass.
Neither side have been able to hold on to the ball.
Second down 10 for the Trojans.
2nd down and 10, 7 minutes to go in this second quarter. Quick hit.
Oh, stood up at the line by Gagnon.
Boy, Carson Gagnon just upended him.
Not at the line, but about 5 yards deep. Gagnon stood him up and said, that's it. That's as far as you're going tonight, big boy.
Well,
that's
great play.
as far as you're going on that play. Wait, they had some running room.
Oh, they had a nice hole. Third down and 4.
I think the moral of that story is don't try to go high on Gagnon.
Boy, Pennington in the backfield.
Salisbury around the left side. Good enough for a Trojan. First down.
Well, good run.
That was a great run, yeah.
Good aggressive run. Almost had him in the backfield, like you said, right at the handoff. Pennington just lost his footing, just slipped. Dietrich was right there in the right position.
Well,
maybe on a dry field, it's a 5-yard loss. Instead, it's a first down.
Well, you just saw their two players, Kyle Brewer and Salisbury. Those guys can run, and you give them a crease, and they can be dangerous. First down and 10, ball on the Eagles' 44. Boy, nice play. Josh Kroll kind of slowed him down. Rosenberger, Epperson coming up, making the tackle.
Kroll wrapped him up right at the line of scrimmage.
Kroll having one heck of a game so far. Ethan Saunders in on the tackle as well. Nice lick by Ethan. 2nd down and 9. Northpoint in the pocket. Zachary Brooks with interception. He breaks free.
He breaks
still on
free,
his
a tackle.
feet. Brooks can run on the left sideline, down 45 to the 50. Knocked out of bounds at the 42-yard line of Northpoint.
Great run, Zachary Brooks. I'm checking the field. I don't see any flags. Always something you look for in a big play like that. First down, Eagles. Great job, Zachary Brooks.
Well, nice play by Ethan Saunders, turning and making a nice block as Brooks headed down that sideline. Brandon, right by you.
I think we can anticipate another steady diet. At least Northpoint can anticipate a steady diet of some runs up the middle here. Just keep attacking that gut interior line, and because the offensive line is winning at the point of attack.
Well, you're right, Brandon.
Boy, play action. Hatcher looking deep, looking for Gagnon down to the goal line.
A ball came loose as he hit the ground.
Boy, great effort by Gagnon. Went up high.
Looks like he came down on the Northpoint defender, maybe down on the foot. It looked like he might have hurt his ribs and might have knocked the ball out too.
Love the play call. Love going deep on that first down. Boy, he went up strong in double coverage. Just couldn't quite hold on to it. Second down and 10. Boy, nice play at the middle. Rosenberger still on his feet down to the 20-yard line.
About a 20-yard run for Matthew McMeans.
Yeah, McMeans, excuse me. Boy, nice pull by Hudson Steele getting out in front of him. Best run of the night for McMeans.
So we've got a Sean Wilkins State Farm timeout. A lot of timeouts in the first half.
Well, it is, no doubt.
Some good, it looks like the Northpoint called that one.
4:32 to go in this second quarter. Be great for the Eagles to get up one more score.
Yeah, let me say thank you to our sponsors here while we have a second. And Sean Wilkins State Farm. The timeout is brought to you by Sean Wilkins, 388-4944. Reach out to our sponsors. Let them know that you appreciate their support. I had somebody this week ask me for the phone number so that he could call in. I believe it was from the live stream, so that's always good. Appreciate it. I need to try to get a list, Clayton, of the cheerleaders. I don't have a list with me of the cheerleaders. I need to try that. That list is plastered on the wall at our home
That's
booth.
right. That's right.
And I didn't bring it with me, so we'll try to get the cheerleader names as well.
First down 10 for the Eagles. Hatcher hands off once again to McMeans. Left side, nice move, picks up 5.
Well, I'm surprised Matthew, great cut by Matthew. I'm surprised he was able to pick up anything on that. Nafy, I faked you out. I said I was going to do the sponsors, and I didn't, and you were ready. Great job. Great response. We'll say thanks to Clayton Floriani at Pediatric Dental Group, James Stiles of Stiles Law Firm, Ortho Memphis as well.
Ball on the 15, second down and probably a long 4. Williams Gagnon, bottom of your screen. Rosenberger fullback, McMeans off the left side.
Big hole.
Still on his feet, first down, Eagles.
Great second effort from McMeans to pick up that first down. They had him stopped. I think it still would have been a first down, but they had him stopped right at about the marker. This second effort by McMeans.
More great blocking from Hudson Still, too, on that.
Well, he had a huge hole.
Had to bring up first and goal for the Eagles. We'll get 4 tries here for the end zone. Williams Gagnon, bottom of your screen. Same play, left side. McMeans down to the probably 2, maybe the 1.
Yeah, probably, yeah.
They continue to attack the left side and, of course, running away from number 70. So that's helping a lot of the push that the offensive line is getting right now.
Yeah, I don't think I'd run at number 70. He's done a good job getting backfield several times already tonight.
That said, they do have him moving all over that defensive line. Right now, he's on the defense's right side of the line.
Lockhart, your fullback.
Left.
Rosenberger tailback. Boy, strong running up the left side. Touchdown, Cameron Rosenberger in from 2. Nice block by Evan Lockhart to spring him at that fullback position.
Boy, it looked like he almost went down right at the handoff, like he slipped, but he recovered his footing and was able to scamper in for that touchdown.
Yeah, just a great play. Broke 1 tackle, just strong, lowers big legs he's got, able to churn it out.
Well, I tell you what I noticed on that was the offensive linemen were all standing in the end zone, which necessitates the defensive linemen all being in the end zone as well. So another James Stiles Law Firm touchdown. Thank you, James. Again, aims to be your attorney from the purchase of your first home all the way to your estate planning for the entire cycle of your life. Also does a lot of work with senior law, which can be complicated and a lot of money at stake when you're looking at senior law. He can help you navigate some of those issues that are specifically affect seniors with nursing homes and different programs. So reach out to James if you need assistance in that area. An ECS graduate also. Got to visit with him earlier in the season and enjoyed that. Proposed to his wife, whom he met at ECS, on the grounds of ECS. So MUS has gone up now 17-14 over Christian Brothers.
Britton, I'm looking across the field, just a great crowd of Eagles having made this trip just south of Memphis. Stands almost full to capacity. Corn into kickoff. Once again, nice deep kick, 5 yards deep into the end zone. Brandon, looks like we've gotten some success now. You know, maybe Northpoint hit us with some tendencies from game film. Looks like we've corrected those and last 2 drives, been able to put it in the end zone.
Hadn't been hard to figure out. They are attacking that left side on our left side of the line and just able to – you can see the results in Cameron Rosenberger just entrusting the ball to him, and he's just going to move that pile, and now he has 2 consecutive touchdowns. But also you look at the effort from the defense capitalizing after the turnover on the last possession. A great interception by Zachary Brooks. We'll see if we can get more of that. And we almost had it. They're incomplete, but definitely protesting that Peter Nern had possession of that one.
It's hard to tell. I just watched the replay, and you can't really tell. We would need a couple of different angles, I think, to see that one.
I tell you, it looked like it hit the ground, but Peter has done that more than once this year, so I would not put him past him to pick that off.
Still trying to get an updated score from Harding and USJ, so it's still showing 14-7 Harding.
2nd down 10, Northpoint, ball on the 20. We have a little bit of movement in the background, in the backfield. Looking to hand off to Brewer. That'll back them up 5 yards. 2:21 to go in the half. Your Eagles up 14-0. That'll back them up 3rd down and 15. 2nd down. We'll replay that down.
Ball's on the 15-yard line. 2nd down.
Try to delay snap count. Eagles held on. Nice. There we go. Timeout, Northpoint. They tried to get that 5 back with an easy delayed count, but just did not work this time.
Well, that gives us another Sean Wilkins State Farm timeout. So 4 timeouts this half. If you missed it the first 3 times that I said call Sean Wilkins State Farm for your insurance needs, then I'm going to say it again. So, Clayton, do you know Sean Wilkins?
I know him, and I know this about him.
What's that?
He's going to be here tonight, like
He's
a good neighbor.
He's going to be here tonight, just like a good neighbor.
I want to can't you snap like a good neighbor? State Farm is bam, and he's here.
That's right. With a microphone.
We might need to do that. We'll go camera and you say that, and then we'll see if we can get him to appear like that commercial.
We're going to have to, with a microphone.
With a
State
mic.
Farm, like a good neighbor, State Farm is there with a microphone in the booth.
All right, here we go. 2nd down, 15, 2:21 to go. Looking for a pass play, most likely from Northpoint. Not handoff to Brewer off the left side. Boy, there he is, Josh Kroll once again.
Boy, a host of Eagles in on that. Boy, I love when those plays, when the first guy stands them up, you get a lot of pursuit by the defense, a lot of guys in on the play. That's where you see the ball getting stripped oftentimes. So great to see that pursuit. So it looks like Coach Rodriguez called timeout. He wants a little time left on the clock, and I don't blame him because they're pinned deep. Northpoint's pinned deep, inside the 15. Was that inside the 15-yard line?
That's right.
Down about the 10-yard line. So, with 2:06 left, it's 3rd down here. Quick stop. He has another timeout. Had to take one early. Unfortunately, Brandon talked about that a minute ago, but that he didn't want to take with some personnel situations. But that's where those timeouts really matter. You don't want to have to waste them, and Brandon mentioned that. But he's got one timeout left, so he'll have a chance to stop the clock again and hopefully get the ball back about midfield. Hopefully make a good defensive stand here, get the ball back about midfield, and have a chance to put the ball in the end zone or through the uprights.
Coach Trey Adams, Coach Scott Vogel discussing this defensive plan as we get 3rd down and long. 2:06 to go. Handoff Brewer once again off the right side. Nice cut. Boy, how about that? Picked up almost 20 yards. That's going to be a 1st down. Trojans had them held.
I'll tell you what is impressive about that, Clayton. that play, two things. Number one, their running ability, but number two, look who grabbed him down from behind.
Well,
Dietrich Pennington.
Missed him earlier and then still ran him down.
Ran him down. We talked about it last week. That's the most aggressive, the best effort I've seen Dietrich play was last week. Great to see him pursuing and hustling like that.
Nice tackle, Ethan Saunders.
Well, that was a big play for them offensively because that effectively means the Eagles are not going to get the ball back, most likely before halftime. I would think they're going to let some time run off the clock here and try to maybe have one or two more shots going in before the half, down 14-0.
Brandon, that was on your side of the field. Did just some missed assignments or obviously a great run by Brewer?
Yeah, it's just more the hole just opened up. Yeah, so unfortunately the coaches are a little frustrated with the missed assignment, but also missed tackles. He got through a lot of arm tackles in order before Dietrich finally tracked him down. And we're seeing that another tough run right there. He dragged a few of our guys. So again, Coach was talking about getting his guys physical, getting back to physical football. He felt that element was maybe missing in the in the Harding game. So we're trying to get back to that physical play that has boded well for us all season long.
Yeah, I think the Eagles with us time is ticking down. 30 seconds to go. Looks like we're trying to go with more of a strip than a tackle.
Yeah, you could hear, Brandon, through your microphone, the coaches yelling, strip, strip, so that the defenders would try to strip the ball loose. Weren't able to.
Boy, nice play off the right side. Salisbury once again gains 10. That'll stop the clock. 15 seconds.
Worth noting that the footing did get Salisbury on that one. He had a great cut coming, and then his legs just came out from underneath him.
Northpoint time. Yeah, time not going to help them. The clock marching down. No timeouts left. They'll spike it quickly.
Well, that's going to be you can't – I don't think you can – I don't know. I'm not sure. Can you spike it in high school?
Well,
intentional ground. See, you can do that in college. I don't think you can do that in high school.
You can't spike out of the gun, according to Coach Todd.
Can't spike out of the gun. You got to be up under center. That's right.
So an intentional grounding.
I did not know that rule. It's good to know.
Well, we saw. I thought we saw that in another game. So that starts the clock back. It looks like that's going to be it. They don't have any more timeouts, so they'll take it in at the half with the Eagles up 14-0.
There we go. 14-0 at the half. Eagles had several opportunities to capitalize, just could not do that while we were in Trojan territory.
Hey, Clayton, sorry to interrupt.
Yeah.
We got Coach Rodriguez here. Going
absolutely. Go ahead.
Room. Obviously, a slow start to the game, kind of like last week. What did y'all figure out there at the end of the half, though?
Well, we figured out it was a little more beneficial to run right at him than try to run around him with these footing conditions. We had some plays that were there, just couldn't keep our feet. So, in these conditions, you got to run more downhill than outside. So I think we'll just kind of work on that, and we dropped some balls out there. And so anyway, we'll just try to get better this next half.
Defense, 2 turnovers at least. What do you think about their play?
For the most part, they've done good. We had they had a few big plays in that last drive there before the half. But overall, they just played well, find the ball. We got to pick up those balls that are on the ground that we haven't gotten.
Okay, Coach Rodriguez, good luck in the second half.
Thank you.
Brandon, thank you so much for that.
Yeah, Brandon, thanks for being on the sideline. We're up here in the booth. It's 55 degrees, and it's kind of warm here in the booth. You're down on the sideline, but
Man,
with the heavy lifting.
Thick, ain't you?
Yeah, you're doing the heavy lifting. So I'm glad you were the last guy to the live stream because last guy gets field duty.
I'm going to show up super early next week.
You
know what? They're nice and early. I may beat you.
You can have it. You know what? Next week, you can have it. You're gonna be in the booth next week.
You're too kind. But it could be worse. We could have a stiffer breeze. It hadn't been too bad out here.
Well, we're gonna Clayton. Before we take a break here, let's talk about we talked about it in the pregame, but let's talk about the playoff picture real quick, and then I've got a special guest, which I've already, spoiler alert, I've already said, we're going to have Sean Wilkins here in the booth with us. With his name has already been said 4 times tonight at a minimum as the halftime sponsor. He hit the Powerball sponsorship tonight. So we're going to visit with him in just a minute. And actually, we'll do, Clayton, we'll come back before the half. When the half is over, we will we'll talk about the playoff picture and what this looks like. All right, Clayton, you let me know when we're ready. All right, we're ready. So, Sean Wilkins, the Sean Wilkins. Hey, great to have you in the booth, Dad.
It's a pleasure to be here. I've enjoyed it.
Let me get you fixed up here. Yeah, you're looking good. I got to say, you're looking good.
Thank you very much. Thank you.
What size is this? Oh, wait, never mind. All right. So, thanks for coming in. Thank you for your sponsorship of the live stream. The halftime sponsor, the second year that you sponsored. Now, the live stream has existed before Clayton and me, but I think we had a couple years off without commentary, which you can argue whether this commentary is good or not.
No, it's good.
It's the only commentary you got, so what are you going to do? That's it. I mean, Clayton's good, and Brandon's good. Now we got Brandon. But anyway, thank you for your thanks for your sponsorship. It really does make this possible. You now get to see back here. I can point at all this stuff that you can see back here. There's a lot that goes into it, a lot of equipment. Clayton always sets it up every week, and I appreciate him doing that. But
a lot of people too.
Thanks for being. Yeah, there's a lot of people in here. Yeah, it takes a lot to pull this thing off. But thanks for coming. Let's talk about a couple of things. First of all, let's pay the bills. First of all, we like to do that, right? That's part of the deal. So tell us, State Farm, why State Farm? I mean, I use you, but people could argue that I'm not objective. I wouldn't buy it, but they could argue that I'm not objective. So, but tell me, why State Farm? How does State Farm different than other insurance companies? Clayton, you use State Farm, don't you, Clayton? You use Sean Wilkins State Farm? Indeed. So we're both biased, but why State Farm?
Great question. I got a great live story that happened yesterday. I had met with a client. We do personal relationships, and so we meet with our clients and we talk about the coverage, and it's all about what they want. And yesterday afternoon, had a great couple in my office. We were talking about their coverage, and they were asking questions. And not to belabor that, we just did our review and we made some changes, and then we left. And so the office, we normally close around 5 or 5:30. Well, I get a call from corporate on my mobile phone saying that policyholder had left her purse in our office, and all her information and identity, and they were calling me, how can we get back into the office? So, like a good neighbor,
State Farm was there.
We had the door open
with a
for
key.
Her. With a key
that opened your office door.
So tell me, call 1-800-WHO-CARES. Will they show up at your door?
I'm going to go with. Is this a pop quiz? I'm going to go with no.
I'm going to go with no.
They're not going to show up.
They're not going to show up. So it's the personal relationships, really is.
Well, I know just from growing up, obviously in your house, which I'm grateful for. Grateful, proud to be your son, grateful to have you as a father, and we're going to get into that part in a minute when we talk about ECS. But I have seen and heard the stories where you've actually driven over when somebody has a fire and you write them a check and you're there. And I mean, it's unfortunate for your policyholders, but it is a difference with State Farm. You have an agent. It's not a random phone number with no person.
Right. We get to literally show up at a claim like that. Not always, but we get to show up with a checkbook. And we have authority that we can write checked up a certain amount. In catastrophic storms, it's a little bit more, but we get to show up. I had a client, a young friend, and had a fire, and I showed up at the burning house, and the fire chief was my client. and the police officer is my client, and of course the guy's house. So the fire chief said, "Hey, Sean." so
what you're telling me is there's nobody else out there to insure. You've already got them all.
No, there's a lot of good guys around. So there's still a lot of people around.
Okay, so State Farm. Where does State Farm rank as far as insurance companies in the United States and the world? Give us some perspective.
We're number one across the country in almost every state. There may be a couple we're not, in auto, home, and life insurance, and growing in health and in the commercial market. And those are the areas we're pursuing.
How long have you been with State Farm?
I'm in my 40th year and still having fun and not planning on going anywhere.
I can attest to it. Some days I'll sleep in, and you've already gone to Iron Tribe and worked out, and then you're welcome, Will Irvine, for that little plug. Yeah. And then you've worked out at 5:30, and then you're at the office by about 7:15. It's earlier than that.
Yeah, about 10 till 7.
Yeah, 10 till 7. So if you're an early riser and you're an early State Farm agent, this is your guy.
So anytime. Yeah.
Well, I know that State Farm has been good to you. I know that you have been good to State Farm. I know you've enjoyed great success, and I know that you don't take credit for that yourself.
I do
why
not.
Don't you? I need to touch the computer here, but why don't you go ahead and talk about that? Where you going to give the credit?
Well, obviously the Lord Jesus Christ. I literally go in my office, and it's funny you say that. A couple of weeks ago, I literally walked in my office and I turned the lights on, and I just thought, Lord, how grateful I am that I could actually walk in my office and turn those lights on. And it was an office that I had the ability to manage, and I know it's a gift from the Lord. And it's great because I get to spend my quiet time in my office before everybody gets there. So my strength definitely comes from the Lord. Today, this is amazing. I had a chance to share with a client that she had lost her husband, and it was just, she came in. We didn't talk anything about insurance. She just came by, and so many people see the State Farm agent as their doctor, lawyer, and Indian chief, literally. It's because we play so many roles. Obviously, we're not lawyers, not CPAs, but we get to hear and get to talk to our clients on a regular basis, and I'm the guy that gets blessed. So I'm very grateful to the Lord Jesus Christ, and I'm very grateful for my family, and you as one, but it's and then ECS. I mean, it's just.
Well, this is all segueing really well. Right. So that was the next question for you. Yeah, I know you served as an ECS board member for certainly more than one term. Yeah, it seemed like a million terms.
15
I already said
years.
I said earlier you were a board member for a million. It seemed like a million years, which is not literally possible. But yeah, we learned that in ECS science class. A million years is not possible.
Right.
But so yeah, how many years?
15 years.
15
two sessions.
Years.
2 different sessions.
And you survived. So tell us a little bit about your heart for ECS. Why did you choose ECS for us? And just what do you see now? Just tell us a little bit about your perspective on ECS.
Well, ECS, it goes back to the late 70s when, after I became a Christian, the Lord saved me in 1975. And there was a group of guys that I prayed with, and they had a heart for ECS. It was when Central Church and First Evan were the main supporters, and so we were praying through some tough times for ECS, and so I began to hear about ECS, and so I'll never forget this too. And so in 1981, when we first came to ECS, Larry Peebles, who was a mentor who I've missed so much, and he was a board member, and so we went to apply. Well, there wasn't any room. I mean, it was full, and so I called Larry. I said, Larry, you got to do something. You got to get my kids in. Now I can afford to get them in. I think I can afford it. Get them in.
It's often a question, I think, for a lot of people. I think I can. I think I can.
Well, I'll tell you what, we laugh, and we're so, again, grateful for ECS because Mom and I, Jan Lee, my bride, would talk about, we saved for the 2 T's, taxes and tuition. That was it. I think I remember that you guys actually went out to eat dinner before we did, to like a regular restaurant. So, I think about the teachers, and I saw Barbara Yevelton a while ago, and just think about they're truly missionaries, and I'm so grateful, and just love them, and they loved on you, and they loved on all our kids. Now they're loving on our grandkids, and it's
well. So you didn't finish the story? How did you get us in?
Okay. Well.
You called Larry Peebles. And
I called Larry.
You gotta get me in.
Well, C.O. Turner was a board member, and C.O. was one of my mentors as well. And so I just kept, and they kept saying, no, just relax. And I kept saying, I can't relax. I want my kids there. And so God graciously opened the door, and so one got in. I think it was Shawn Michael got in. And then I said, surely you got to drag the other one in. So I think you got pulled in on Shawn Michaels.
I rode his coattails.
You rode his coattails.
We got it. I rode Shawn Michaels' coattails. So I need my little sister to hear that too. So
right.
We'll give him some credit.
She's the funny one.
Also, if she's the fun. That's not true. She's not the funny one. This is kind of an inside family thing, but I'm not. I mean, maybe, but I don't think that's true. So, all right. And you, I remember specifically in an interview you did, you were talking about ECS and your perspective on ECS and what ECS does for students, how ECS prepares students for life.
Well, that's the thing that made ECS so rich to me is that and I used this, and I really copied it from someone else, but they gave a compass for the kids because it was so Christ-centered, and you had great Bible teachers, Mark and others, that their focus was on Christ. And so the kids, you can't help but be influenced by the light, and that's the Word of God. And so being influenced by that, it gave them a compass. And I say it gives them a compass, and the compass points north. And not that north's the way to Christ, but that's the direction we usually when we're talking about it. So it pointed north, which was the way to serve Christ and live for Christ and know Christ and be saved by Christ. And during their life, when they go to college, they're going to venture. They're going to go east. They're going to go west. But they in their heart, they've got a compass that's going to bring them back.
Yeah, compass.
And I have to credit the teachers. It's just that they loved on the students, and then the parents. I mean, we came together as a family. It was just, and it still
great
is.
Community. Well, and that's one of the things that we did a big survey. A big survey was done at the school last year, and the two of the biggest words that these marketing companies, the more times a word is used, the bigger they make the word on the graph or the picture, and to represent those words and the magnitude of each word. And Christ-centered was number one, and it was bold across the middle. So thankfully, that is what our families perceive, is that we are. And this survey was sent to alumni, to people in the community, people who are connected to ECS, not just current ECS families. And the other thing was, one of the larger words on there was community, and I certainly experienced that. I mean, I've had a buddy text me tonight during the game that I graduated with, a good friend, Clay Scott, already texted me tonight, and I get texts from Sam Kelly often. And just a couple of weeks ago, I got a text from Bart Yancey, who moved his sophomore year, so I talk almost every week with Brent Harriman, who's pastoring a church in Knoxville. And so it's the community.
Today. I listened to him today.
You listened to his sermon today? I haven't listened yet. I listened on Monday to last week's sermon, so I'm a little behind. But
well, let me say this too. ECS was not only was it Christ-centered, but it was just fun. Having that community was fun. And we talked about, I think about Hubba Hubba. How many times I hollered Hubba Hubba at a football game, and then it goes back to the footballs, throwing the footballs, and those are just fond memories for me. So it makes it. Now we're having the fundraising this week and next week, and just when you think about the people that went before us. The guys that went before us that founded ECS, and then how Christ worked through them, then the guys that came along, and we've had our ups and downs, but I think about those fond memories, and so I want to give back, not only because my grandchildren are there, but for what was done in the past, and it's just the investment. This
is like, so we didn't talk about any of this.
No,
before we got on there.
No warning.
I didn't tell you. I just threw you into the deep end.
Well, you did.
But you're swimming like a champ. You're swimming like I'm not going to say, what's that guy? You're not like Phelps, a little bit more like Lochte.
Yeah.
So, a little more like Lochte. But,
well, I got 40 years of experience in marketing. So maybe.
Well, so you said, you want to give back, and I just wanted you to know you're going to have a chance.
I know it.
Right now.
Okay.
It's week of giving.
I know it.
I don't mean like you can give me a check right now, but I'll take it. I know people. I can get it to them. But
I saw Braxton, and I'm so grateful he's here.
Braxton's doing a phenomenal job. I'm so thankful he's here.
I told him I was so grateful he was here.
I am too. Yeah. He's become a dear friend, and he's a friend and a mentor at the same time, which is great. But This is Week of Giving. So you've segued every single thing we needed to segue into. You've naturally segued into that. So it's almost like this was planned. But so this is Week of Giving. So those who are watching on the live stream, you can ECS has sent out a couple of different things, different ways you can give. But if you have missed those, then you can do it the old-fashioned way. You can actually write a check if you have a checkbook. I don't know how to Venmo. I don't do that. My wife does. But you can write a check and mail it, put a stamp on it, and send it to the P.O. Box for ECS off the website and help out with 1030.
Cordova, Tennessee. I think 380.
I don't know.
38.
I don't.
Yeah. Yeah, we've done it.
You've done it. Okay, he's done it. He's done it. He's done it a lot. But so Week of Giving, would love for you. There's a great need. We would love for you to support the school through Week of Giving. This week's a big week, and that culminates here. So Trey Adams, our new advancement director, would love for you to do that. I want you to close us out, but I want you just to tell me in the 60 seconds your commercial for ECS. Why would you? So Week of Giving, why give?
Oh, why give? Well, I look back at the history, and back when I was on the board and I was involved in the marketing, when we were thinking strategically how to get our name out to the community more open, I said, we have the product. Look at the product. Look at Sean Michael. Look at Holly Marie. Look at Britton Wilkins. Look at these other kids that have graduated, that have gone on.
Could you name a few other people?
I know it. I know. That's my family.
It would be better if you say a few other people.
I know that, but I'm
thinking.
Well,
Holly Marie. Okay, Holly Marie.
Okay,
we name Holly Marie.
Okay, well, look, I got
her husband, Brad. He's a good guy.
Brad
Biggs. He's a good guy.
Jennifer and
his sister. It's not. He did not marry his sister.
Marty
and Jennifer. Jennifer
there's
Pennington, Sean's wife. Yeah.
There's Jason Farmer. There's Clayton Scott. I mean, just Clayton Scott. I mean, there's just look at those guys. That's what we market. And those guys, look what they do. Look at the downline that they bring about in just their ministry. It's. I mean, that's it. The last thing I'll say is that you want your kids to walk in a way that honors God. Is you have to have them in the Word, and ECS presents the Word every day in everything they teach, and the truth is God's Word. Whether it's in science, whether it's in mathematics, it's God's Word.
Well, I think we're about to get ready for kickoff, but I appreciate what you had to say about ECS. We appreciate your support and sponsorship. So if you want to reach out to Sean, call Sean Wilkins State Farm at 388-4944.
Yeah.
With that, thanks.
And I'll even give you my cell number.
All right.
I love you.
Bye. See you. Love you.
Brandon, my pleasure. Sean Wilkins.
Brandon and I are same community group. Joseph, nice to meet you. You know Jane from Nathan? Brandon and I are the same community group. I think I have that. Yeah. You know Matt Morrone. That's his son, Nathan.
How you doing? Oh, I see your dad up there messing with other stuff.
Yeah, it's church stuff. All right, see you.
All right, getting ready to start this second half. Northpoint kicking off. It's going to be fielded down on the 20-yard line. Williams around the right side. Nice move, pushing ahead down to the Northpoint 40-yard line. Nice return into Trojan territory.
Running over a couple of Trojans on the way.
Joseph Brinkley for the Trojans.
All right, here we go. Joseph Welch going to come back in at quarterback to start this first series. See what Coach Rodriguez had to say at the half. We're going to put Gagnon Williams top of the field, Rosenberger fullback, McMeans the tailback. We're off the right side. Nice play by Northpoint. We'll only pick up probably one or two. Brewer on the tackle. Second down and a long 8. If you're at home, thank you for joining us on this live stream. Thank you to Sean Wilkins as a sponsor and a mentor and a great guest. Welch, once again, McMeans gets outside, turns on the speed, gets around the left end. That'll pick up first down to the 25-yard line.
Great run by McMeans. Putting his head down at the end, picking up an extra couple yards.
Nice gain of about 13 by McMeans. That'll be a first down. 10:58 to go. Eagles got the ball on the kickoff. Williams got it down to the 40, and we've marched it 20 yards almost. We're going to bring Gagnon and Williams bottom of the screen. Rosenberger fullback, Lockhart the fullback. Rosenberger in at tailback. That'll be probably a gain of maybe 1.
Well, great return by Dawson Williams to set up this offensive series. Nice when you defer to the second half. That's the way you want to start the second half, with about a 45-yard return. Followed up by a first down, a quick first down, and then here's second down and long.
Second down and 9. We're going to get Rosenberger back at fullback. McMeans, nice hole. Still driving, pickup probably of 8. Going to be just a little short of that first down marker, I believe.
Maybe a yard, well, maybe a yard or 2, maybe 2.
Brandon, how's that look to you? Just a little shy?
Now we're right at about 2 yards. Right at about 2 yards. Looks like the chain is here at the 16-yard line, and that's spot's going to be at the 17. So, yeah, it's just actually over a yard,
Had a little bit of success keeping Rosenberger at that fullback. McMeans at tailback. Welch up the middle, quarterback sneak. He'll pick up probably 3 on the play, so that'll be enough for a first down. Ball down to around the 12-yard line of Northpoint. 9:04 to go in this third period of play.
Another Eagle first down.
Coach Rodriguez loves that quarterback sneak on any short yardage situation. He's been known to run it as far as 3 yards out, so definitely when it's a yard.
I think I heard in the background of your mic there, Brandon, the officials say, Coach, you can't call the play from the field. Is that what he said?
That is a fact. The referee, bit of a reprimand to Coach Rod, but duly noted.
We're going to flip Preston Daniel over. Boy, McMeans hit it hard up the middle.
McMeans
He'll go in from the 12. Matthew McMeans in from 12.
McMeans hit that hole with some vengeance. He came with some purpose. It punched it right in for another James Stiles touchdown.
Well, great play call. You know, when I looked across, Brandon, at you, I could see Coach Rod doing the play call from the field, but he didn't spend much time, so I'm sure it was probably a same play. That was probably the call. Same play. Karn up with a kick. It is good. That'll push a quick touchdown after the half. The Eagles up 21-0, 8:33 to go. Britton, pretty good statement there coming out at the half.
Yeah, Brandon talked about it last week, you and Brandon both, and
Cameron Rosenberger have been running the rock tonight. You just see this offensive line, their confidence growing, and they now feel like they have that defensive line of Northpoint's number. They figured this out, and you just see their confidence growing. Great leadership from Coach Williford there, pouring into these guys and really bringing that confidence and fire out of them.
No doubt. We had a little bit of a break in coverage there. The stream went down. Like I said, we are on a Wi-Fi connection tonight, so you might have some little blips of connectivity problems.
Well, next week we'll be back at home. He kicked it out of bounds. That's the first one this year?
Yeah, just barely. That'll be a penalty. Looks like it went out of bounds at probably the 1. Still a great kick by Corin.
Well, you know what? If you're going to kick one for the year out of bounds, this is the time when you're up 21-0.
That's right.
We can get that out of his system. Yeah, I think Karn has to be the leader in the city for touchbacks. It's almost 40.
Nice little throw and catch by Northpoint. Gagnon came up like a missile, just could not quite get him down.
Yeah, I think we're right at 40 touchbacks for Karn.
It's like our internet's down once again, kind of blinking in and out on us.
Yeah, if you're noticing this intermittent signal, unfortunately it's because of the MiFi we're using, in case you missed that earlier.
Handoff up the middle. Salisbury will pick up the first down. That'll bring up 1st and 10. Ball on the Northpoint 47-yard line.
You know, Austin Hill coming into this game leads this defense with 38 tackles on the season. Ethan Saunders with 34.5, and Evan Lockhart with 34 on the season. Jacob Epperson, 30.5. Carson Gagnon with 30. So 5 players there with 30-something tackles coming into this game.
Boy, nice play. Kind of screened that out. Austin Hill. Kroll looked like he was getting held on the play. Couldn't quite get out of the way.
Well, I thought Austin Hill was being held on the play too, but he did get some separation. So he was able to stop him for about, looks like about a loss of 1 maybe.
Second down, a long 11, 6:25 to go. 3rd period of play. That front 3 and that Eagle 3-4 defense, one heck of a game. Kroll having a great night. Hartsuff, Pennington. Going to hand off to Brewer on the right side. Evan Lockhart came up, wrapped him up, kind of slowed him down. Had allowed Preston Daniel to catch up.
Great gang tackling by the Eagles defense on that. Just one guy gets started and then everybody converges on it.
Well, sure was. It looked like a net gain of 0. Once again, 3rd down and 11. They're going to look for Salisbury in the flat. Boy, nice play by Salisbury. Still free. Boy, he's going to go.
He's gonna reach the end zone.
Yeah, that's going to be 6 points. Touchdown Northpoint. Boy, just a quick little flat. 2 or 3 broken tackles, and he's in the end zone.
Well, we talked about it before the game. That's one of those guys, both he and Kyle Brewer both have a lot of speed.
Yes, sir.
And you see it right there. Coach Rodriguez mentioned that both of those players are guys that they would love, the kind of guys he would love to have on his team, and he does have some of those guys on his team. But he said those 2 guys could play for pretty much any team in this city. That's the quality level of their talent. So we had 4 – looked like we had at least 4 missed tackles.
Yeah, we sure did.
Right on the sideline. I mean, I was right on top of it. Yeah, he 3 guys had their arms on him at once. He squeaked through there, broke 1 more, and then he was up the sideline. Really just a great athletic play.
Well, sometimes you get more than 1 player on a guy at the same time, and it's almost like they knock each other off of the player,
That's
off
exactly
of
what
the
happened.
running back. Yeah. Boy, Dawson turned on the Jets and almost knocked him out of bounds. Salisbury at the 1-yard line, looked like. Could you see that, Brandon? Did he almost knock him out? It was hard to tell from up here.
He's got great speed. Speed at this level is deadly. All right, so here we go. That puts the Trojans on the board. Your Eagles up 21-7. 5:09 to go in the third quarter. With 5 minutes to go in this game, this third quarter, we certainly expected to see a lot of backups in Britain at this time. So Northpoint playing one heck of a game. That's going to be Gagnon, I believe. Nice move around the right side.
They're going to bring it back for a block in the back, I think, down on about the 20-yard line.
We're going to look that up and see what happened.
I think that
they're going with a holding, so it is holding on the return team.
It looked like our guy was just blocking theirs, and he blocked him to the ground, not intentionally, but
I didn't see a hold.
I didn't see a hold, or it certainly wasn't a block in the back. But
all right, well, that'll back us up. Looks like the ball probably.
I'm over here in the refs. It was a block in the back. Block in the back penalty on that kick return.
Hey, Brandon, go over there and tell him we watched the film and we didn't see that. Would you tell him that real quick?
I'll see what he can do about it.
First penalty on the live stream team of the year.
First down, McMeans on the right. Nice hole. Cuts it back. Boy, that's going to be a gain of 15. Nice play by McMeans on the right side. Handoff from Hatcher. Great way to answer.
Well, McMeans coming into this game had about 750 yards. He's picked up, I'd say at least 40 yards, maybe more than that. It seemed like he had one long run, but McMeans, the leading rusher, of course, with Rosenberger having missed at least 4 games so far this season, maybe 5.
First and 10, ball on the 27-yard line. Williams Gagnon up top. We'll flip Austin Hill to the left side. We'll have a power to the left side. Quick pass, Williams, a little high. Couldn't quite get it down. Williams tried, just couldn't hold on.
The pass had a little heat on it.
Yeah, he throws a nice ball.
Like a Clayton Floriani All-State Washington Greenville
Never
pass
did that
right
one.
there.
Wish I had that arm. That'd be nice.
What you did? So you're telling me what you didn't have in arm, you made up for in speed?
I guess.
I don't feel like you want to talk about it.
Well, I'll tell you, I didn't have that. I did not have an arm like that. I probably had some speed, but not an arm. Jacob Hatcher back in. Rosenberger, the fullback. McMeans tailback once again. Nice cut. They're going to wrap him up. He might pick up one. Carlton Brown once again, number 70.
It'll be a long third down, Clayton. Credit to this Trojan defense. They're fired up.
Looks like they're shifting that front around quite a bit on us.
Well, that's the same move that Coach Rodriguez used against Lausanne last year to that whole first half to shut down Eric Gray.
Yeah, we had a couple guys in and out of that lineup right there, so I think we're going to kind of get back to that main core group.
We got 9 seconds on the play clock.
Eagles going to have to burn another timeout on the personnel issues again. Not exactly who they wanted out there at this time. Coaches owned it last week, just talking about miscommunicating that, maybe not getting the message across to players. So they're going to have to burn a timeout and try to get their bearing straight here.
I'm sure that's going to make them really excited. So with 6 minutes left in the third, Harding and USJ tied at 14. So, Clayton, tell us why. Oh, it is a Sean Wilkins State Farm timeout. We obviously just interviewed him. So if you went to pick up some pizza at halftime, you can go back and watch that interview with Sean Wilkins. There's a couple of things that came up in the interview that are going to need to be addressed later. One of which, when he stated unequivocally that my sister, I don't think I said that right, my sister was the funniest one in the family, and everybody that knows me knows that's not the case. So I know. Did you want to comment on that?
Sounds like someone.
You're a little bit of a rock and a hard place here.
Well, it sounds like someone maybe paid some money.
Maybe tipped him off?
Yeah, that's what I'm thinking.
Yeah, I'm sure she paid him. She had probably made him a meal or something.
Hatcher steps back. Wow, nice pass. Carson Gagnon on the right sideline, number 9, cuts back down to the 20 of Northpoint. Great third down. Throwing catch by Hatcher to Gagnon.
Well, Gagnon, heads up cut. If you notice, he was looking to the left, saw the defender coming in, decided to stop and cut in front of him. And when he did that, he picked up an extra 12 yards off of that one cut. That's something that's hard to teach, but you see it with a great athlete like that.
Almost a 50-yard pickup by Gagnon. Longest play from scrimmage so far tonight. 2:50 to go in this third quarter. Eagles marching, heading south, up 21-7. Rosenberger fullback once again. McMeans tailback. Hatcher in the pocket, sets up deep, looks over the middle. Williams, touchdown! Dawson Williams.
Dawson wide open across the middle.
Boy,
Great route by Gagnon too. Gagnon really took his guy wide to the corner of the end zone. Left Dawson wide open. They've been trying to double team him all night, but they just late.
Just a great throw and catch, and more than anything, great job by that offensive line. He had all day to set up and let Williams get across the middle on that post route. He was covered for a moment when he broke free. That would not have been possible without that offensive line. So with 2:31, your Eagles go back up 28-7. So we're back on top by 21 points. Great answer by the Eagles.
Well, that brings up another James Styles touchdown. So Eagles up as 28-7 on the scoreboard. 4 touchdowns tonight. James Styles with the Styles Law Firm. Thank you, James, for your support of the Eagle Nation. Roughing the kicker was a call. I didn't even see that flag on the field. The flag looks like it's all muddy. You couldn't see it in the shadow. So roughing the kicker, I'm not sure exactly how they enforce that.
Well,
it's too bad we don't have Scott Broadway online with us right here, our collegiate official, head referee, collegiate referee, to tell us exactly how they're going to mark that. They're going to mark it right here. That's what they're
going to move it up 5, which doesn't matter. But
can we tell them we want that 5 like out on the first series? Because Chandler doesn't need that 5 yards.
No, he could put this one in out of the end zone.
He might kick this one out of the track.
Real quick, fellas, a stern warning from Coach Rodriguez. He just gathered the whole team on the sideline, saying there's a lot of chirping on the field right now between Northpoint and the Eagles, and he's just saying we got to cut that out. Don't play into their game, because if you get kicked out of this game, that means you have to sit the next one. So just kind of laying it out there for his guys. Keep your composure, keep it calm on the field, and don't play into Northpoint's hands on that.
Well, Brandon, I'm glad you're down there to give us some of that feedback. We don't get the benefit of that up here.
Well, just as we thought, Karn kicks that out of the end zone. So Trojans take over on their own 20.
Well, I talked about this defense just a minute ago. 4 players, actually 5 players with 30 tackles so far this year coming into this game. 3 of those are juniors.
That's a pick. Thank you.
Boy, nice play. Carson Gagnon on the pick.
Speaking of juniors, Carson's one of those juniors. So,
well, I tell you what, great athletic play. 2 plays in a row, offense and defense for Gagnon.
Yeah, so those juniors on that defense, leading that defense, number 1, 38 tackles coming into this game. Austin Hill's a junior. Ethan Saunders, a junior, with 34.5 tackles. Evan Lockhart, senior, with 34 tackles coming in this game. And then Jacob Epperson with 30. And then I mentioned Chandler. I do that a lot. Carson Gagnon, not Chandler Gagnon. Chandler Gagnon sponsors. Carson Gagnon plays. with that junior with 30 tackles.
Hatcher in at quarterback. Fakes to McMean, sets up deep in the pocket, going deep to Williams. Got him! Touchdown, Eagles! Boy, great throw and catch. Britton, we'll call that 50-plus to Williams, down to the 1. He takes it in. Well, you had a feeling he might dial that up on this 1st and 10. We got a penalty on the play just thrown, so probably a little extracurricular activity.
Hopefully it wasn't celebration on our part.
Northpoint.
It was not.
They're going to call that on Northpoint.
Well, you know, that's just what happens. You get frustrated. Things aren't going your way. Great long reception. Jacob to Dawson. Yeah, watching the replay, must have been a couple guys.
Yeah, I could not tell kind of at our angle what happened, but looks like we're getting a nice little warning by all the players, by the referees, kind of give them a little chat.
Hey, boys, let's keep it clean. Thank you.
Well, how many offensive plays was that?
Right there was just that was the first one.
That's it.
First
First
and
play,
10. Yeah.
deep.
Yeah, it went deep.
That happened so fast, I almost missed it.
Yeah, well, it did. I mean, a quick pick by Gagnon and a nice throw. Once again, offensive line doing a great job giving protection to Hatcher. Nern on the hold. Kick is up by Karin. Pitcher Eagles on top 35-7. Boy, quick 2 touchdowns after that nice run by Salisbury.
Another flag.
I'm getting a sense it's something unsportsmanlike out there on Northpoint. ECS players adamant on the sideline. We did not say anything.
Well, another unsportsmanlike conduct. It's obviously frustrating. You know, Northpoint, ECS comes in this game heavily favored, and Northpoint actually performed pretty well the first half and had some success here early in the second half, and so obviously some frustration on their part. Northpoint just called timeout, so we have another Sean Wilkins State Farm timeout. We had another James Stiles Law Firm touchdown. So between James and Sean, you can pick up your law advice and your insurance advice. So, and if you're looking for a pediatric dentist, Pediatric Dental Group sponsors this broadcast. Clayton Floriani, one of their dentists.
We'll see you through college.
You see us all the way through college?
All the way through college. So.
Unfortunately, you won't see us after college because you used to be my dentist,
yep.
And then you quit on me.
Kids are more fun.
Well, I believe that.
That's right.
How am I going to respond to that? I can't. What am I going to say?
It's.
Of course, they're more fun. They don't talk back to you, though, do they? I talk back to you.
No, I just enjoy. I give probably 50 fist bumps a day, and it's
you never gave me a fist bump.
I know. That's what I'm saying.
We'll say thanks also Scott House with Bank 3. Scott, one of our volunteer soccer coaches for our ladies soccer program, also a board member. Scott is one of the guys that helped form Bank 3. So it's a seasoned group of bankers. Do a lot of commercial banking, private banking, seasoned group of bankers that got together to start that. Scott, an integral part of that management team, and a great servant. Scott's currently leading the head of school search committee and doing a great job in that regard. Saw some communication go out, I guess, in the last week or two that search has been narrowed down a little bit. So hopefully that committee will be able to give us at least the finalists or some candidates here in the next, hopefully in the next 30 to 60 days. So they're running an excellent. Scott's talked about the process they're using. They really are running a great process, and I appreciate their diligence. I wish I had all the members of that team right now I would read them out, but they're really doing a great job, and we appreciate their help.
Northpoint just kind of gathered their troops up as well after those 2 penalties. Their coach, Coach Cassio, kind of telling them that, guys, this is the way it's going to work. He's probably fed up with those penalties. I tell you what, I've never seen the ball being kicked off on the opposing team's 30-yard line. This is.
Well, I mean, you got to think this is an onside kick, but at 35-7.
So it's a 40-yard field goal.
Hopefully he's just going to put it through the uprights.
We'll find out. Wow, this is interesting. Well, good call, Britton. Onside kick, try to recover that. Not
I mean,
quite.
why wouldn't you do an onside kick? Take an opportunity to do that.
Ball in the 20.
When the ball in the 20.
That was crazy.
Real quick score update, just seeing that it's now tied up between USJ and Harding 21-21 with 11 minutes to go in the fourth.
Oh, thank you for that update. I'm falling asleep at the wheel, Brandon. Good job.
Well, I just wanted to, bear the burden.
Well, you did a nice job.
Okay.
You know what? Next week,
I'm warming up for next week.
Next week,
I
you're in the
be able
booth,
to
man.
provide
That's
a
the deal.
break for you.
Next week, you're in the booth.
That was my audition.
We have to reward that kind of behavior.
All right, we got some new guys in that front defensive line. Blake Barnett, Coot, number 61 in there. Brady Holloway, 43's in.
Stream may be down again. There it's back. It was down for a minute. The stream was down for a minute. A bunch of young guys in.
Boy, great play. Preston Daniel, outside linebacker, wraps him up.
Well, great response. There's a lot of speed on that team at the running back position. Great response, closing on them, pushing him towards the sideline, tackling him. And what was equally as great, he didn't sling him to the ground.
Nah, yeah, great play.
Great sportsmanship. Well done. You see a play like that, you sling him to the ground, and you're asking the official to throw a 15-yard personal foul, and he didn't. So good finish as well.
All right, we're going to bring Lockhart back in. We're going to bring Preston Daniel in again. We're going to have Nern, who's normally that cornerback, playing free safety.
Nern,
great tackle.
Quick on the tackle. Nern read that early, tried to break on it. That's a hard play to defend when they're running the route that shallow.
We got number 16, Will Arthur. He's in at cornerback at the top of your screen. So we've kind of pulled Gagnon out. So, we pulled Epperson out, put Nern at that safety position, and pulled Arthur in at that cornerback. JV team has not lost a game this year.
But Joseph Welch is in at is he at strong
linebacker?
Safety?
Yeah,
linebacker. Okay.
Tell you what, if you keep an eye on number 61, Coot, he's one that kind of jumps off your screen weekly during practice at that nose guard position, giving our guys some great competition as they prep for the upcoming week. That'll do it for the third quarter. We'll begin the fourth. Eagles on top 35-7. And we're going to try to keep up with these younger guys coming in the game.
So flip the field, wind down the clock, 12 minutes. The last 12 minutes of this fourth quarter, last 12 minutes of the regular season.
Yeah, that's right. It's going to be fourth down and a long 4. Williams back. I tell you, this could be dangerous. You get him a punt, he could be. This could be almost a touchdown or just deep into Northpoint territory. That's going to be returnable. Boy, nice move.
Boy, a little shake and bake.
Yep.
Made the first guy miss.
Sure did. Gets up to the 45-yard line of Northpoint. Great catch and great return by Williams.
Little Clayton Floriani shake and bake right there.
Shake and bake. All right, let's see here. Let's see
Magic Man. Are you Magic
I thought
Man?
y'all were shake and bake.
We are shake
Which one?
and bake.
I don't know which one's which.
Well, I don't know who Magic Man is. It's got to be Clayton. He's Magic Man.
All right, we're going to get Welch in at quarterback. We're going to keep our same offensive line in. Williams, Gagnon, top of the screen. Rosenberg and McMeans. Nice move by McMeans on the right side. He'll pick up 7.
Fresh score from Nafy, MUS up over Christian Brothers for those who are interested. That's the
First down, Eagles.
So I think we went down again just for a second.
Ohio and in Michigan. I just saw him help a player up a minute ago. Great sportsmanship by Josiah. You wouldn't think this, but what you might not know is that Josiah is a great tennis player.
Really?
He is.
Wait, no. Josiah, the offensive lineman?
The center on the football team. That's right.
He's a great tennis player.
He is.
I did not see that coming.
Yeah, he is.
And almost 10 minutes left in this game. Eagles up 35-7. Certainly should pull this game out. But this has been a great season. 7-2 if we pull this out. 8-2. This has been a great season for the Eagles.
Nice throw and catch. Will Arthur there. He'll pick up 5. Last year at this time we were 3-6.
Yeah, and the
pretty
year
sure about
before
that.
2-9. So Coach Rodriguez turned this program around, this team, not turned it around, taking it back to what it was.
Yeah, absolutely.
Under Coach Walters and Coach Hines and some of the coaches, successful coaches we've had at ECS, and Coach Rodriguez turned the program around. Just his second year to go,
right.
And really about a field goal away from being 9-1 on the season.
Tell you what, nice to see at safety, number 11, Jack Stevens in. Jack's been out for most of the season with an injury, so nice to see him in the game. I know his folks are glad also.
Looked like he was getting a little on-field discussion, on-field coaching with Peter Nern, talking about the different reads they were each going to make.
Ladarius Allen, number 7, also checking into the game. Carter Gibson, number 21, outside linebacker, checking in as well. Carter's, I think, first year back into football this year. He's just slowly gotten more and more playing time.
Well, you mentioned it.
Big kid.
Coot, Will Arthur, Jack Stevens. We got a lot of
Yeah, let's see. We've got sophomore. Agapos, I believe, is I think he's a sophomore on there. Is that right, Britton? Arthur's a sophomore. I think Agapos may be a junior.
Agapos is sophomore.
Sophomore? Okay. Thanks, guys. Just a lot of. I know Coot is a sophomore. Holloway's a sophomore. So a lot of 10th graders out on the field. Britton, I'm not exactly sure what we're waiting on here. It's 9:07 to go in this fourth quarter.
I think we're having some difficulty with the clock.
Okay. Brandon, is that kind of what you're seeing down there? A little clock trouble once again?
Yeah, they're talking about how they're going to resolve this issue. I've heard that they may just set it to all zeros and then just keep the clock, the time that we're going to see with the referees. So we're just going to see how they resolve this. But that is definitely a clock issue.
Britton, this week the girls and boys cross-country team finished second at, I believe it was the region meet. So I'm not sure where that goes, but I know that was quite a nice run for both of those guys. That was on, I can't remember what day it was. Maybe yesterday. It was just raining. It was just a terrible day to run, but
they did it anyway.
They did anyway.
They pulled a Forrest Gump.
They did.
They just kept on running.
That's right.
This updated score, the Lions 28. Right now there's some people going, who's Forrest Gump? The Lions up 28-21 over USJ. So, Clayton, talk about, while we have a second, talk about what that means for us in the playoff picture for those who missed the pregame.
Yeah, I think that I'm not 100% on this, but I'm pretty sure that if St. George's and then St. George's beat us, so it's kind of a three-way between St. George's, Harding, and us. So that's why with Harding winning that will just clear it all up and put us at the
undisputed second place.
That's exactly right. Boy, couldn't quite get him down. Carter Gibson came up and put a nice lick on him.
Well, thankfully, after he broke about 5 or 6 tackles.
Great tackle by Will Arthur after Salisbury made a lot of guys miss.
All right, welcome back. Just once again, just kind of in and out of this spotty signal. Logan Arnwine, number 41, in an outside linebacker. Logan Arnwine on the tackle. Get some Arnwine fans in the house.
Defensive coach.
Number 43 by the Eagles. Second down and 5.
Wind is really starting to pick up outside here.
Is it? I can't tell that. I can't tell that, Brandon. Is it?
We're going to face mask on the play.
Yeah, I think we're having unsportsmanlike after the play. I think.
Brandon, you guys had a great week of wrestling. We talked about that last week there at the lower school.
Yes, sir, we did. Had our first practice out there. Had a great group of guys. It's great to have, like, we have kindergarten through 5th graders, so it's just great to they all get to share the same space. So it's not like we're designated into each class, so they're all on the mat together. And, of course, not competing against. You don't have a kindergarten and a 5th grader going against one another, but they're all just sharing the space, and it was just really we had a great time out there having our first practice. Next practice is going to be Tuesday. Again, there's room for more. So Tuesday at the lower school from 4 to 5.
1st and 10 on the 19.
Well, it was great, Brandon. Another penalty.
Ladarius Allen on the tackle. Andrew Agapos. Brandon, when you come to practice like that for wrestling, since I didn't wrestle, is the first thing you do you teach them the sleeper hold, or do you go with the figure 4, or with the DDT?
You go straight for steel chairs.
Yeah,
You go straight for the steel chairs.
Yeah.
And the eye poke. Those are textbook. Oh wait. Different kind of wrestling.
Wait, that's wrestling.
That's wrestling. When do you mix the greens paint liquid, and then you get that kind of spew like the great kabuki? You remember that?
I want to know when they give you your mask. Like, do you how many
that's what I want.
How many matches do you have to win before you get your mask?
You have to earn it. But Britain,
can we get a picture of you?
Do you need to win some matches?
Hey, can we get a picture of you in your mask when you were a high school all-state?
That's somewhere on the internet.
All-state heavyweight.
So it's kind of like, say, now the big deal is in football is you get the belt. Because we're watching Brewer.
Oh, that's a good strip. That's exactly what these coaches have been trying to get them to do. And they came up with it. Will Arthur with a big-time strip. Ripped the ball right away from him.
Well, a great play from this young defense. I hope I think the live stream blanked out and we couldn't even see it. But great play from Will Arthur to strip that ball right down on the end zone. While we were having fun talking about wrestling, there was a personal foul. One of their offensive linemen taking out a little bit of frustration on one of our defensive linemen and just blindsided him, clocked him, knocked him down right in front of the official. That was that backed them up from a 15-yard personal foul. But then they just responded with a great run. But Will Arthur stripped it to put a final touch on that. I don't know how much time's left.
I just stole a glimpse from the ref that's keeping the time right now. 5 minutes, 34 seconds left. Again, technical difficulties with the scoreboard here at North Point's Christian, so it's zeroed out, but 5 minutes, 34 seconds left in regulation here.
I tell you what, I wonder if that's what's causing our Wi-Fi to kind of blink in and out as well. Just some, because their scoreboard is hooked up to internet as well.
As we digress, I do think I'm going to have to institute that idea, though. I think we need championship belts.
Well,
that's something we don't have. That's not customary in the world of wrestling, real wrestling, but it wouldn't hurt.
You know, it wouldn't. I mean, you seeing these guys get those belts, that's what I was thinking. Even a mask. I mean, how big would that be?
I don't think we're not streaming.
If you're at home, sorry about that. Just having a little bit of trouble staying online. Zachary Brooks off the left side.
Fighting hard for yardage. Good to keep see that they're going to keep feeding him the ball, even though they had the misstep on that last possession and resulted in a fumble. Zachary Brooks getting an opportunity to carry it again.
A little less than 5 minutes to go. You'll see the clock is on 0. Had clock trouble, so the time is being kept on the field.
So 2 score updates, 30-14.
3 minutes,
MUS.
42 seconds left.
All right, 3 minutes, 42 seconds here at Northpoint Trojan Field.
We got Asher Morris, Hudson Steele, Carlton Webster.
A little fumbled snap. Was not intended to be a quarterback keeper, but Joseph took it around the end. So, sorry, Clayton, go ahead.
I was going to say, we had Coot also in there, and with Blake Barnett, some young guys getting some playing time.
Well, 2 score updates, 30-14. MUS over Christian Brothers on the road tonight. Again, big game in Shelby County. And then the big game that matters for us, the Harding Lions lead USJ 35-21 with 5:12 to play. Their clock has been similar to ours all night. Harding.
Nice play by Karn to get that errant snap and get the ball off. That'll be down at the 31-yard line of North Point, so they will take over on offense with probably around 3 minutes to go in this ball game. This game not all too different than last week against Harding. Kind of a slower start at this first half. Eagles came out second half, put together some nice drives, and last week, of course, the score 34-7. Tonight, 35-7.
Well, we're fortunate it's not 35-9. Karn, he caught a bullet. It almost went over his head. He moved to the right.
Darn it.
Moved to the right, caught that bullet, and if it had gone through the end zone, it would have been 2 points for the Trojans.
Grayson Saunier in, number 8, almost picked up an interception off the tip. Ben Lucas in at linebacker. We're going to Charlie Crosby also in at that middle linebacker position. Hand off to the left side. Looks like Salisbury. Excuse me, that's Brewer. Tackle made, Brady Holloway. Zach Baker, free safety. Jacob Welch, 25, also in. Adam Wickham, number 59, also in.
A Sean Wilkins State Farm timeout. Who called timeout?
Tucker White, number 29, also in the game on defense.
We've seen Tucker White several games this year at tailback. One of the bright spots of the future Eagle offense. Got great speed. Along with Bennett Brady at quarterback. We've seen them on the JV team. JV teams had great success this year, which speaks well of the future of the Eagle football program.
All right, we'll try to get all these guys.
Like Jacob Welch is in.
Yeah, Jacob
Joseph's
Welch.
little brother.
Yep, 29, Tucker White. 25, Jacob Welch. 39, Zach Baker. Kyle Brewer kind of carved us up. A lot of missed tackles.
Well, what that is welcome to varsity football.
That's right.
Kyle Brewer is a great running back. The leading rusher for Northpoint this year, showing us right there why. Hard nose, got great speed. This is just great game experience for this really phenomenal JV team.
That'll be up and good by Northpoint. They'll put 14 up on the board with probably 2 minutes or less remaining. 142.
Okay. Man, you're on it. Hey, Brandon, with that kind of field reporting, you're going to be in the booth next week. I'm telling you.
I am earning my stripes.
You're going to be in the booth next week. Can I have it back the next week?
I don't know. We'll leave it up to Clayton.
Ooh.
That's right.
I feel good about my chances because I see Clayton all the time. I only see you, once every couple of weeks. Well, in church.
Your
I
job
see you at
is
church,
safe.
too.
Your job is safe.
It's not really fair. I mean, I'm bantering here with a true professional. I mean, this is like but leave it to me. I'm pretending like I'm just pretending like I'm a big deal.
Maybe
you really are a big deal.
Maybe I'll pray about it. I think either one of you would be fantastic.
I just know this, Brandon, after watching Clayton set everything up tonight, getting here early enough to watch him set everything up, if he's not here, we're in serious trouble, either one of us.
Yes, you can say that again. But he's the executive producer, program director, digital online supervisor.
Yeah, I love that one. Keep going.
Play-by-play extraordinaire.
Dawson Williams on the return on the right side up to the 40-yard line. I tell you, Brandon, last night we were both at Christian Brothers for that 5th and 6th and 7th and 8th grade game. I was, with a night like that, cold and rainy, I'm still keeping my fingers crossed that I'm going to come out of that with no cold.
Yeah. I think my feet are still wet from yesterday's game.
Yeah, my ears are probably still cold and a little ringing.
I'm proud of that 8th grade team.
Britt, you were there as well.
7th grade, I was there. I have a cheerleader, 7th grade cheerleader. I have 8th grade son, but I have a 7th grade cheerleader on that team. So I was there last night, and I'm proud of that 8th grade team. Group boys, they have just played really hard this year, put in a lot of hard work. And Clayton, you're one of the coaches on that team. We've seen some bright spots out of that, but Clayton Garrison's kind of come into his own. Put up some really good runs last night.
He's had a fantastic year. We're going to be really, really looking forward to having him on JV and then varsity next year. Caden Hill, 22, checks in at receiver. Zach Baker, receiver as well. We got Bennett Brady in at quarterback.
Stealing a glimpse of the clock, pardon me.
Tucker White gets the handoff. He'll be wrapped up. A loss of around 4.
The refs are saying that ought to do it. Time's going to run down after that one.
We saw Charlie Crosby in there just a minute ago. I think I saw his father, John Crosby, the RUF director at the University of Memphis. Doing a great job serving our city through RUF. Saw him in the stands tonight.
Nice to have.
Go ahead. I think he was slumming around with Jake Varga. I'm not sure.
Probably.
That's typical.
Nice to have John Webster, number 58, in the game.
That looks like
Refs are
that's
saying
it.
That's it. Yep.
That's going to do it.
All right, Brandon, we'll stick around just for a minute for you to get a post-game interview, if you would, with Coach Rodriguez here as soon as you get a chance. Clayton, let's talk again about what this means for the playoff.
Well, we're going to be home, no doubt. Guys, hold on real quick. Crisco, Joe, Nate, appreciate it. Guys, thanks for coming
Nathan
down.
Maroc,
All of our fellas here in the
Chris
booth.
Cochran, Nafy, thank you guys for your help.
So we'll be home next week. That's what we know. Now, who we said will either be St. George's or will be Lipscomb, it looks like. But from the looks of the game, with with USJ losing currently to Harding, it looks like we will play St. George's. So, of course, we lost by 3, 24-21 during the regular season.
Well, now we play Lipscomb as the second seed.
I
think the second seed, let's go back.
I think that's going to be the
look.
third seed, actually.
Oh, you're right. St.
Yeah.
George's is 4. You're right.
I'm
wrong.
We'll be 2 playing. So we'll be 2 seed playing 4 seed, which St. George's will be the 4 seed.
You're right, Clayton.
If we go
and
3 seed,
3 seed plays
Lipscomb.
4, middle 4, and Lipscomb's 2 and 7.
Yeah.
St. George's is 4 and 5. They've got that game versus Houston tonight. I'd be surprised if they pull off a victory over Houston.
No, they're not going to beat Houston. Houston put a really tough game, knocked out Collierville last week. So
they'll probably be 4 and 6. St. George's will. Not sure how Lipscomb's going to fare tonight. Harding will be 6 and 4 overall if they hold off USJ.
Nice sportsmanship on the field as both teams gather for a word of prayer and probably encouragement. Northpoint, of course, a great host tonight. Just probably some frustrations after a pretty long season, a winless season.
It's been a hard year. I've been on some teams that had some tough losses at Memphis. We've had some great victories, but had some tough losses, and especially this time of the year, it starts to wear on you. Well, and thanks to, as you said, Northpoint has been great hosting us tonight. Been very gracious.
That's right.
So appreciate them and their fans and everyone involved with their program.
So if it all plays out the way we think, we'll be the number 2 seed playing the number 4 seed St. George's at home. We'll just kind of play around with that for just a minute. If we win that game, then it looks like we would be playing the next week's CPA in Nashville. So that's kind of the way that would look if we come out of victory. Of course, we don't.
Well, CPA's 9-0. I'm not sure who they're playing tonight. Lausanne 8-0. So the two undefeated teams.
Well, and we haven't beat St. George's in years.
A
if
long
I'm correct.
time.
I mean, that's
right.
I mean, I know they've had some injuries, but they're going to be ready to play.
Well, Clayton, I need to say sorry to our cheerleaders. Love what they do for us. I need to say sorry to them because I don't have the list of cheerleaders tonight. So I apologize. And we've got eyes on Brandon. Hopefully he'll get a second here with Coach Rodriguez. Oh. After the singing of victory, the traditional victory in Jesus. Win or lose.
Thanks for hanging around, Brandon. I know those guys are still getting a word from Coach Rod.
Brandon, see if you see another coach over there we can grab in the meantime. You see?
Okay.
See if you see. Looks like Coach Williford's walking away from you. See if there's somebody over there. Is Trey Adams over there?
We got
Coach
Ben Todd or Trey Adams. Who's
grab
one?
Trey.
You tell
Grab
me.
Trey Adams.
Our Coach Ben Todd's right there by you. You can grab him.
Coach Todd, you might want to grab a word with you. Just tell me about the performance. You know what you got to see out of your guys. Real tough defensive play.
Yeah, well, I mean, the guys, they came out and they knew what they had to do. Started off a little sluggish, but proud of the guys bouncing back. And, no real adjustments made in the second half, just guys doing their job. So I'm proud of them. After a sluggish start, they came back, so I'm proud of them.
And the Chalk Talk, Coach Rod was talking about the physicality. Did you feel like the physicality was there? Was that back?
I think that went up a notch, which is good. In the playoffs, you better pack your run game, you better pack your defense, and physicality is a big part of it. So that's definitely something we're gonna have to do.
Good luck in the playoffs. Thanks, Coach.
Okay, good.
Get the sense of it waiting on Coach Rodriguez here as we get ready. Coach Rodriguez, great way to end the season. A sluggish start, but just what's your assessment of the game?
Well, I was just proud how we responded in the second half, and we kind of found a little something in the first half and built on that in the second half. And I felt like we got a little mojo going there. And anyway, I was proud of our guys for how we finished this regular season.
Looking forward to the postseason, of course, but just taking the entirety of this regular season, really a great run, 8-2. Just what do you make of that?
Well, I think at the beginning of the season, if someone had said, you're going to finish 8-2, we've been pretty pleased with that, and we are. I'm really proud of the guys, the effort they've put in for since really the end of May. And anyway, this is fun. We're going to enjoy this for a minute and then get ready for the playoffs, and we'll figure out who we're going to play here in a little bit. So,
what do you want to see out of them? How are you going to get them? No matter who you're playing, what is the preparation going to look like?
Well, I think the preparation is just really about evaluating where our strengths are and relative to the other team, and we'll just kind of see who we get and see how we size up.
All right, we look forward to watching you next week.
Thanks so much.
Again, a lot of enthusiasm, a lot of excitement looking forward, and like you said, just a great season. If you told us at the beginning of the year we would have had an 8-2 team, we would have been thrilled with that. Now to see it just come to fruition, it's just been an amazing journey watching this team grow from week one to here we are at the end of the regular season.
Well, Brandon, we appreciate that. I know he kind of summed it up. He could not have said that better. They found something in that first half to build on, and then carried that into the second half, and so that was what got us the victory tonight. Some nice long plays by Hatcher, of course, some passes. Everyone contributed. So,
Coach Hardy Buck, here's Coach Hardy Buck. Coach Buck, you got a word for us?
Great win for the Eagles.
All right, great win for the Eagles.
All right, guys, thanks for joining us here at home. We will see you next week at Legends Field. Don't forget, live stream will be up and running, but also bring your radios. You can tune in to 92.7 on the field to catch us live. So, Britton enjoyed it. Brandon enjoyed it. Thanks for coming out.
Good to be with you as always. Brandon, you're promoted next week. You did such a good job. We're going to put you in the booth.
Promoted for a limited time.
Promoted next week, and the good news is, too, we're going to double your pay.
Oh, my goodness.
So, last-minute score here, Clayton, before you take us out, 35-3, CPA over FRA. CPA finishes the season, as expected, at 10-0.
All right. We'll carry it on home. Good night, everyone, from South Haven, Mississippi.